Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations, joint with the Committee on Immigration. Please silence all cell phone and electronics. If you wish to submit testimony, you may do so at testimony@council.nyc.gov. Chair, we're ready to begin.
Good morning, everyone, or should I say, Dajia Hao. I am Councilmember Chi Osei. Yeah, we could give a round of applause for that. I'm City Council Member Chi Osei, Chair of the Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations. My pronouns are he, him, his. And welcome to our joint hearing with the Committee on Immigration, chaired by Councilmember Shahana Hanif. Today's oversight hearing is on New York City's immigrant communities and the arts. At this hearing, the Committee on Cultural Affairs will also be hearing two pieces of legislation which are unrelated to this oversight topic but are also very important. Resolution number 331A, co-sponsored by Council members Christopher Marte and Crystal Hudson, recognizing Lunar New Year as an annual school holiday and as an official holiday in the city of New York. And resolution number 424, sponsored by Councilmember Sandra Ng, calling on the United States Congress to pass and the President to sign the Lunar New Year Day Act, HR 6525. I'm excited to hold a hearing on these two resolutions today. Many New Yorkers celebrate the Lunar New Year with areas like Sunset Park, Flushing, and of course Chinatown and Manhattan hosting large and extravagant festivals and celebrations full of confetti, dragon, and lion dances, and lots of food to wish good fortune and luck for the new year. I may not look like I am, but as a Chinese American, my grandmother is from Hong Kong, Lunar New Year is a holiday near and dear to my heart and to my family. Every year, my family and I, thank you. Every year, my family and I gather at my grandmother's to ring in the new year with a dinner and an exchange of hung bao or red envelopes. As we approach the Year of the Rabbit, I'm excited to know that we here in the Council are pushing to make Lunar New Year an official holiday in New York City and the country as a whole. I welcome my colleagues, Councilmember Marte and Councilmember Ng, who have joined us today to provide brief remarks on their legislation. Councilmember Marte?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Chair Osei for organizing this hearing. You can hear the passion of his heritage in making this an official holiday, so thank you so much, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. I want to thank my staff, Ian Wong and Stephen Wong, and Central Staff Regina Paul for making this resolution possible. I also want to thank the over 100 family associations who are in support of this resolution, and the over 50 individuals from my community, from Sunset Park, from Flushing, who are here today to testify in support of making Lunar New Year an official holiday, not only in New York City, but also in our schools. Resolution 331 calls this administration to recognize Lunar New Year as an annual school holiday and official holiday in the city of New York. Lunar New Year is one of the most important annual celebrations in many East and Southeast Asian cultures. And every year, almost 1.5 million residents from across New York City celebrate to honor their Asian heritage. Across the city, Asian American community hosts grand events to welcome Lunar New Year, and I welcome everyone to Manhattan's Chinatown fairly soon to visit our small businesses, come to our parades, see our lion dances, see our fireworks and our street fairs. These events attract New Yorkers from all racial, ethnic, and religious backgrounds to enjoy the festival and the Enlightenment, promoting and understanding Asian cultures and benefiting, of course, local small businesses. Although former Mayor de Blasio designated Lunar New Year as a public school holiday in 2015, the New York City DOE did not designate the Lunar New Year, which is on Sunday, January 22nd, as a holiday in the 22-23 school calendar. Nor did DOE designate the following Monday as a makeup holiday, and we have to correct this. This caused widespread frustration and confusion among residents and students. Therefore, I hope this council can expeditiously pass this resolution to clear up the confusion and recognize Lunar New Year not just as a school holiday, but official holiday for the city of New York. Also, I want to thank everyone who's been supportive, as well as Councilmember Hudson, who is not here, and also Councilmember Sandra Ong, who I know this is really important in her community as well.
Thank you, Councilmember Marte. Your constituents in this city are very lucky to have you in office. I do want to turn over to Councilmember Ung for some brief remarks as well.
Good morning, and thank you to Chairs Osei and Hanif for hosting this joint committee meeting and allowing me the time to speak about Resolution 424, which calls the City Council to support H.R. 6525, a piece of legislation introduced by Congressman Grace Meng to designate Lunar New Year as a federally recognized holiday. In Asian societies across the globe, Lunar New Year is the most important holiday on the calendar, including the Asian American community here in the United States and in New York City, where we're the fastest growing ethnic group. Designating Lunar New Year as a federal holiday would be an important recognition of the contributions of Asian Americans in this country and a show of solidarity at a time when hate crimes against the community are increasing at an alarming rate. Adding Lunar New Year to a list of federally recognized holidays will also be a powerful sign of awareness of our country's cultural diversity. Working toward the recognition of Lunar New Year has been a long fight. I worked in the office of then Assembly Member Jimmy Meng, and I helped draft the original state bill that paved the way for the designation of Lunar New Year as a school holiday in New York City. It was observed the first time in 2016. However, when the Department of Education released a calendar for the 2022 to 2023 school year, the Lunar New Year holiday was not included because it falls on Sunday. So this year would not be recognized by DOE with a symbolic day of school. Many Asian Americans, including myself, honestly felt that this hard-fought recognition of our culture was being disregarded. It is time that Lunar New Year is recognized on par with other major holidays throughout the year, regardless of the day of the week that it falls on. It will not be only an important acknowledgement of the positive contribution of Asian Americans to this country, but also allow members of the community to fully celebrate this 4,000-year-old tradition by providing them the opportunity to spend time with family and friends, just as holidays celebrated in Asian communities in other parts of the world. And the only way for this to be accomplished is to designate Lunar New Year as a holiday at the federal level. This is why I call my colleagues to adopt Resolution 424 and urge Congress to pass and the President to sign H.R. 6525. And I also want to welcome everybody from the community, from Chinatown, Sunset Park, to from my home Flushing, to come out here and support these resolutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Ung. Your constituents in this city are also lucky to have you. Before I continue, I do want to acknowledge the students from the Avenue School who are here. It is so important to have young people engaged in our civic process. As the youngest member of this city council, I'm so thankful to see you up there. I still am holding a grudge. I went to Friends Seminary and you guys kicked our butts in sports every single year, but thank you for being here today. Now, let me start with our oversight hearing on New York City's immigrant communities and the arts by providing a little background. The Department of Cultural Affairs, or DCLA, is both the country's largest municipal funder of art and culture and the city agency responsible for supporting arts and cultural organizations in our 5 boroughs. One important part of DCLA's work is to provide operational support to organizations in the form of grants known as the Cultural Development Fund, or CDF. DCLA just announced last month that it will be providing over $58 million to 1,070 cultural organizations through this year's CDF grant process, a historic amount. Many of these grantees come from and or serve the past and present immigrant communities that make up New York City. For example, this funding will support projects by the Oye Group, a community of Black and Latinx kids and adults made up of both immigrants and native New Yorkers who will use the funding to teach kids in Brooklyn about Shakespeare. In the process, they also teach young people about the value of their creative work and the responsibility of being a professional artist. Annie Poland, president of the Tenement Museum, explained that her museum's CDF grant will enable it to honor and share stories of historic immigrant, migrant, and refugee families in order to build learning, empathy, and connection in the world today. In a statement about the grant release, Mayor Adams noted that more grants were awarded this year to, quote, the smaller, local, and more diverse groups that reflect the histories of old New Yorkers, and that no matter in what borough, New Yorkers can learn about some of the unique cultures in their own backgrounds. This committee celebrates all of these cultures that make up our city today and applauds this kind of grant making by DCLA. Now, a bit of history. At least since the development of DCLA's Create NYC, the comprehensive cultural plan for New York City, which was published in 2017 after engaging over 188,000 New Yorkers in its drafting process, the importance of serving New York City's communities of immigrants in the art and cultural sector have been officially recognized. One of the original objectives of Create NYC was to support arts and culture and science organizations and as inclusive spaces for New Yorkers of all immigration status. When translated into DCLA's action plan in 2019, that objective became to improve cultural access for historically marginalized groups of artists, audiences, and cultural workers. One of the groups named specifically in the action plan was immigrants. Since then, the financial commitment to New York City's immigrant population from DCLA and from the City Council through the City Council's Cultural Immigrant Initiative has been clear. To their great credit, New York City's art and cultural institutions have, in recent years, welcomed immigrant artists, provided support for newly arrived immigrants, as well as for those who identify with their immigrant heritage, celebrated the cultures of past and present immigrant communities, and taken a stand to advocate for immigrants and immigrant artists. Examples of such support would include the work of El Museo del Barrio, excuse my Spanish, the Guggenheim Museum, the Ukrainian Museum, the People's Leader Project's Immigrant Research and Performing Arts Center, and the Queens Museum, not to mention many, many smaller immigrant-led organizations, often based in neighborhoods that are home to many immigrant families. These smaller organizations, in spite of the considerable expense of operating in New York City and the language and logistical difficulties of reaching out to immigrant communities, contribute profoundly to New York City life every day. It cannot be denied that New York City is a tapestry of immigrant stories. I'm grateful that we are here to highlight the important work the city, the art and cultural communities, and our immigrant organizations do, and for the opportunity to do so jointly with my colleague, Chair Hanif, and the Immigration Committee. At today's hearing, I'm eager to learn more about the breadth and depth of the arts and cultural community's response both to serving immigrant communities as audiences, including our most recent asylum seekers, and to putting their arts and cultures on exhibit for all New Yorkers to appreciate. Our committees want to understand how the City Council can best support the kinds of efforts that have already been mounted and initiate new ones where needed. Before I move on to Chair Hanif for her opening statement, I want to acknowledge my colleagues on the committee who are present. Councilmember Ung, of course, Councilmember Dinowitz, Councilmember Lewis, Councilmember Marte, and Councilmember Joseph, and Councilmember De La Rosa. I would also like to thank my staff and the committee staff for their work in preparing today's hearing. Also, Councilmember Moya and Councilmember Sanchez, my apologies. I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Naomi Hopkins, my Policy and Budget Director, May Vutrapong-Vitana, the committee's Senior Legislative Counsel, Brenda McKinney, the committee's Legislative Policy Analyst, Regina Paul, and the committee's Financial Analyst, Sandra Gray. Now, I would like to invite Chair Hanif to give her opening statement.
Thank you so much. Shout out to all the young people here. We love to see it. And if the educator, teacher could raise their hand, want to give them a shout out. Okay, I see you. I see you all. Thank you. Thank you for encouraging participation in hearings. They're not the most sexiest nor glamorous, but important for the work that we do in the City Council and for all young people to recognize where power lies. And it's all local, it's all municipal, and really excited to see where your journeys take you. I'm Councilmember Shahana Hanif, Chair of the Immigration Committee and a proud member of the Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations. I want to thank Councilmember Osei, Chair of this committee, for today's joint oversight hearing on New York City's immigrant communities and the arts. I want to thank my council colleagues, representatives from the administration and public for being here, and to members of the public participating remote. I am a proud co-sponsor of both pieces of legislation being heard today, and I'm especially proud and deeply appreciative of the work that Asian communities across our various ethnic backgrounds have done together to ensure that Asian and South Asian holidays are on the calendar, that we have days off, including Eid. So the work is more powerful when we are coming together as the broader Asian, South Asian community in our city. This is such a timely hearing, especially as we continue to welcome asylum seekers, as we continue to call for expanding mental health services and other medical and health interventions and guaranteed and safe housing. We cannot forget about the power of the arts as a tool for inclusion in our democracy, as an urgent part of our joy and healing, as an opportunity to understand our stories and migration paths and histories, and the forthcoming and ongoing organizing and activism that must integrate the arts in all its forms to continue to galvanize our communities. It is no secret that immigrants are an important and influential part of life here in New York City. This city is home to almost 3 million immigrants, 40% of our city's population, and 60% of New Yorkers, myself included, are children of immigrants or immigrants. We pride ourselves of the diversity of our city and value the contributions that the newest immigrants arriving can make to the tapestry of New York. It is not an exaggeration to say that immigrants are an essential part of the fabric of our communities. They contribute not only to our economic prosperity, but also provide integral contributions to our renowned artistic and cultural life. Now, as our city is welcoming an influx of immigrants, our cultural institutions have an opportunity and an obligation to both serve and showcase the arts and culture of these immigrant New Yorkers, while also supporting the artists who've arrived too. And this includes our future artists who are in classrooms across New York City. We must create supportive career pathways for artists. No child should be told not to pursue the arts. Arts and cultural programs not only provide immigrants with an avenue of expression and a way to tell their stories, these programs and institutions also create bridges between the underrepresented immigrant communities and non-immigrant residents of the city. These experiences are an important way to foster understanding and create dialogue that transcends linguistic, cultural, and geographical barriers. These experiences are part and parcel of what makes New Yorkers, immigrant and non-immigrant, part of a community. I look forward to learning more about the administration's efforts to promote this sense of community and support current and future New York City immigrants, including women, undocumented, disabled, queer, trans, and Black immigrants. I'm also excited to hear more about how the arts and cultural organizations of our city anticipate serving and working with our growing immigrant population, as well as the council's role in furthering these initiatives. I'm especially interested in learning about this administration's approach to arts and activism and supporting the groups organizing and aiding their capacity with arts funding. I want to thank all the committee staff for their work on this issue, including Jayshree Ganapathy, our senior legislative counsel, Rebecca Barilla, policy analyst, and Florentine Cabore, finance analyst. I would also like to thank my staff, Chief of Staff Nora Brickner, Legislative Director Alex Liao, Communications Director Michael Whitesides, and everyone working in the background to make this hybrid hearing run smoothly. Now I will turn it back to Councilmember Osei.
Thank you, Chair Hanif. Now, I would like to address some housekeeping items before we begin with the administration's testimony. First, as a reminder, today is an in-person hearing with the option of virtual testimony for the public. The committees will be accepting registrations for testimony throughout the hearing. Anyone who is attending in person and who wishes to testify in person should see the Sergeant at Arms to fill out a witness slip, even if you registered in advance online. As usual, we will begin today's hearing with testimony from the administration, followed by councilmember Q&A, and then move to public testimony. We will limit councilmember Q&A, including comments, to 5 minutes. During the public testimony portion of the hearing, witnesses from the public will be limited to 2 minutes. As a reminder to all our witnesses, please state your name prior to your testimony for the record, and please try to keep to those 2 minutes. We have a lot of you in the room today. The committee will also be accepting written testimony for up to 72 hours after the hearing. Now I will turn to our senior committee counsel, who will administer the affirmation to the witnesses from the administration, who may then begin their testimony. Brenda?
Thank you, Chair. If you could please raise your right hand. And today we have Commissioner Lori Cumbo from DCLA, Eileen Reyes-Arias from Moya, and Lance Polovny from DCLA. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and answer councilmember questions honestly before this committee today? Thank you. And you may begin your testimony when ready. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Chair Osei and Chair Hanif and members of the committee. I'm Commissioner Lori Cumbo here today to testify in regards to today's topic, New York City's immigrant communities and the arts. And I just want to say, in my 20 years of testifying, as well as being a council member, I've never seen a turnout like this for a Department of Cultural Affairs hearing. So I really give it up to you all. The energy in here is incredible. As Chair Hanif has said, the next generation of leaders are in the balcony and here on the floor, and we're excited to see their pathway. And I'm just thrilled. I almost walked in here and thought I was in the wrong hearing. So I'm super excited that you have been able to engage the cultural community in such a profound way. I am joined by a number of my colleagues from the Department of Cultural Affairs, as well as my colleagues from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and we are truly excited and honored to be a part of this hearing today. New York is a city of immigrants. It's been true for centuries, and the city we all live in today, its energy, vibrancy, and beauty, we owe to immigrants both past and present. For so many of us, the immigrant experience is central to who we are and where we and our families come from. Any understanding of our city, its people, and its needs has to take the immigrant experience into account. It's fundamental as we are New Yorkers. Another statement that's just as true as saying we're a city of immigrants culture is the bedrock of New York City's communities. It's a source of joy, connection, social cohesion, and economic vibrancy. It's a critical way for us to celebrate, share, and express who we are. Our immigrant neighbors have always embraced this power. In the process, they both strengthen their bonds as a community and make our whole city stronger. And at the Department of Cultural Affairs, it's our great honor to support the individuals and organizations who do the work of organizing, community building, creating programming, and bringing people together to share their singular cultural experiences. As a result of so many diverse artists, audiences, and disciplines thriving in such close proximity across disciplines from all corners of the globe, an incredible cross-pollination happens in our city. And you are seeing that here today in City Hall. In other words, New York wouldn't be New York without the creative energy of immigrants, full stop. Culture also has a role to play in welcoming the newest arrivals to our city, including asylum seekers. Little Amal's visit to New York last fall is one recent high-profile example of this. For those of you who might have missed her whirlwind tour of New York, Amal is a towering puppet representing a Syrian refugee who anchored a series of interactive performances hosted by groups all across the city. Last summer, we joined Chair Hanif, our colleagues at the Civic Engagement Commission, the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and Little Amal to welcome asylum seekers arriving at the Port Authority bus terminal in Midtown. The families had been on a bus all night and they were exhausted. It was 6 a.m., but they were in good spirits. And once the younger arrivals warmed up to Little Amal, it was such a powerful moment. Amal created space for our children to be just what they are, kids in awe of an incredibly beautiful 12-foot tall puppet. For that moment, the tragedy of their situation was not defining them. It also provided a potent reminder to anyone watching of the real people whose lives are often obscured by the frenzied national headlines, and that is the power of art. The conversations that Amal catalyzed around the cultural community services for asylum seekers continue to this day, spurring an ongoing collaboration between DCLA and Moya around Immigrant Heritage Week later this year, among other exciting collaborations that we have in the works. At the Department of Cultural Affairs, we are so proud of our work to support the vibrant cultural life of our immigrant communities. The diversity of immigrant experiences in our city is matched by the diversity of the ways these experiences are reflected in our creative life and cultural community. As a consequence, there is a range of ways the city supports and reaches our immigrant arts communities, and I'm excited to tell you about all of those different ways. DCLA's Cultural Development Fund supports hundreds of immigrants serving arts groups and programs across the 5 boroughs. To highlight just a few from the most recent grant cycle, in Manhattan, Harlem's Custom Collaborative, which is a first-time CDF grantee in fiscal year 23, trains, mentors, and advocates for and with low-income immigrant women to build the skills necessary to achieve economic success in the sustainable fashion industry and broader society. And Create in Chinatown works at the cross-section of neighborhood engagement, storytelling, and the arts, amplifying voices of their neighborhoods, advocating for equity, and highlighting local histories through oral history projects, cultural classes, and talks. In Brooklyn, we have the Flamboyant Haitian Literacy Project. Another first-time CDF recipient serves English language, ELL, Haitian immigrant students in New York City ages 14 to 21, providing them with the vital cultural and linguistic services, as well as the Coney Island History Project, which records oral histories from residents of their iconic neighborhoods in English, Russian, Chinese, Spanish, and other languages. Last year, they also produced 2 immigrant-themed history days featuring live performances. In the Bronx, we support Casita Maria, New York City's oldest Latino-serving charity. Their wide range of programming showcases diverse cultures through events in their art gallery and in non-traditional venues such as local businesses and street corners, erasing barriers for local residents who may not be inclined to visit more mainstream venues. In Queens, we have the Bangladesh Institute of Performing Arts, which also operates in Brooklyn, promoting Bengali arts and language in New York City's multicultural communities by offering accessible classes and platforms for emerging artists and performers. And of course, in Staten Island, we have the Universal Temple of the Arts, which serves as a resource and platform for artists of color and the community from a multicultural perspective. And Staten Island Arts offers programming that explores the cultural heritage of the ethnic communities that make Staten Island home. Citywide, the CDF also supports services for immigrant artists. We work with arts councils in each of the 5 boroughs to provide funding for individual artists, collectives, and smaller organizations. A funding partnership we're proud to continue supporting at historically high levels this year. And New York Foundation for the Arts Immigrant Artist Program provides services, individualized mentoring, and resources that help artists' careers and gain access to the cultural world while upholding their distinct identities. As you may know, the fiscal year 23 awards announced last month integrated new, far-reaching equity reforms intended to distribute this public support more fairly to more organizations. We're still evaluating the outcomes, but the results were promising. DCLA awarded the most funding to the largest number of cultural organizations ever. More than 82% of groups led or founded by people of color saw an increase in their baseline awards. We doubled the minimum grant from $5,000 to $10,000, a major benefit for smaller groups who saw their average baseline awards increase by 67%. Successful applications from first-time applicants also jumped from 47 in the previous competitive cycle to 125 new organizations receiving CDF funding. The CDF application doesn't ask specifically about immigrant-serving missions or programs, but we know that our most immigrant-rich neighborhoods tend to be served by smaller, POC-led groups, categories which benefited tremendously from the reforms. The CDF also includes the Language Access Fund, which grew from the Create NYC Cultural Plan and its strategies for engaging New Yorkers more equitably. This year, 55 groups received $550,000 support for programming that increases access to arts and culture for those whose primary language is not English. The fiscal year 23 grantees serve populations that speak a range of languages, including Spanish, Chinese, Mandarin and Cantonese, ASL, Arabic, Bangla, Bosnian, Georgian, Japanese, Quechua, Russian, Uzbek, Tagalog, and Yiddish. These groups include Sundog Theater on Staten Island, which links theater skills with language mastery for ELLs. In Brooklyn, Fort Greene Park Conservancy and Rooftop Films have partnered for a Chinese and Spanish language film festival that will happen later this spring. I personally can't wait for that. It will feature 4 films aimed at engaging local Chinese and Spanish-speaking populations. In the Bronx, ID Studio Theater's bilingual community theater programming includes the production and performance of ID Studio's repertoire, new and existing, in theaters and community spaces throughout the Bronx. Their DCLA grant will allow them to present these plays to their very diverse community through collaborations with mission-aligned organizations developed through their Bilingual Healing Arts Initiative. A partnership I'm incredibly proud of is the Cultural Immigrant Initiative. As a council member, I helped to create this new pool of funding with then former council chair of the committee, Jimmy Van Bramer. I'm so thrilled that this council has embraced the initiative. It's so important to call out the things we see value in and both name them and invest in them with real dollars. Last year, the Immigrant Initiative allocated more than $6 million to over 180 organizations delivering services in every community across the city, from the Asian American Writers Workshop to the Dominican Collectives Dance Ensemble. The groups getting support from this initiative are doing the work in every single council district. The Coalition of Theaters of Color, which I'm also particularly proud of, another collaboration between council and DCLA, also provides major support to dozens of organizations serving and uplifting immigrant communities. I fought to expand this initiative from covering just 8 organizations to more than 50 during my time in the council. Last year, it provided more than $5 million to more than 60 groups citywide, and I'm so pleased that this council has expanded the Coalition of Theaters of Color, because it is just that way that we get resources into the hands of our immigrant community groups, including Mayi Filipino Theater Ensemble, Pan-Asian Repertory Theater, Thalia Spanish Theater, Vibe Theater Experience, Amarinda, and more. The members of the Cultural Institutions Group, which occupy public property and have a mandate to serve all New Yorkers, also do an incredible job of engaging our immigrant communities, such as Flushing Town Hall. Beyond its own diverse programming, Flushing Town Hall provides a hub for immigrants across Queens. Groups like CDF Grantee, Tong Zhao Ling, Chinese Opera Ensemble use FTH as their performance hub. The FTH stage will have a jazz performance one evening and a Chinese opera the next, capturing the amazing diversity of the borough itself. Bronx County Historical Society runs Garifuna Cultural and Heritage Initiative, which focuses on documenting the Bronx Garifuna community, the largest such community outside of Honduras, by recording oral histories, collecting archival materials, and celebrating Garifuna art and culture through public events. Queens Theater presents theatrical work exploring the immigrant experience and offers a program for English language learners in elementary and middle school, where teaching artists use theater games to support students acquiring English as a new language. And El Museo del Barrio, which is deeply rooted in our city's Puerto Rican and Latino communities, provides a wealth of education programs in multiple languages and cultural celebrations. Just last week, I was thrilled to participate in the 46th annual Three Kings Day celebration, which is an important holiday throughout the Spanish-speaking world. Lincoln Center, as part of their American Songbook series, or World of Voices, last fall showcased 9 performers whose diverse global artistic heritage deeply informed their creative expression. These musicians hailed from Honduras, Mexico, India, Guinea, China, Sudan, Venezuela, Tunisia, and Guatemala. The series sought to broaden exposure for artists and remove financial boundaries for audiences through a pilot of Choose What You Pay, with tickets offered as low as $5. Staten Island Museum offers Spanish language guides and programming. Jamaica Center for Art and Learning centers immigrant artists in their work and produces concerts exploring music of the diaspora, particularly directed toward the Caribbean immigrant communities of Queens. Brooklands Museum's adult literacy programs include partnerships with CUNY's Language Immersion Program at Queensborough Community College, where museum staff work with college-bound immigrant students on socially relevant art-making projects while further developing their English skills. Under Mayor Adams, we're also investing capital dollars in cultural groups that serve immigrant communities, helping to ensure that they have the long-term stability and top-notch facilities they need to serve audiences. At adoption last year, the city added $11 million for a new home for the Afro-Latin Jazz Alliance in East Harlem, including $7 million from Mayor Adams. This year, we also made new capital investments in the Hispanic Society of America and Caribbean Cultural Center African Diaspora Institute, whose home is in a former firehouse they received from the city. Other recent capital investments by the city include $10 million for a new home for the Pregones Puerto Rican Traveling Theater in the Bronx, support for a major renovation to the Tenement Museum, which is dedicated to preserving and sharing New York City's immigrant heritage, and funding to secure a permanent home for the Museum of Chinese in the America. And that's just a small sampling of the incredible work that we're doing. Another investment we're proud of is the future home of the People's Theater Project in Inwood. Last May, Mayor Adams announced that the People's Theater Project, an immigrant and women-led nonprofit, will own and operate a first-of-its-kind immigrant research and performing arts center, lovingly known as IRPAC. The center will amplify the voices of New York's vibrant immigrant communities and cultivate work by local artists and art groups. The city will invest $15 million to help People's Theater Project acquire a newly constructed cultural center that will deliver a theater that is more equitable and representative of immigrants and people of color. Working with EDC and the mayor's office, DCLA helped select this incredible organization to anchor this facility dedicated to exploring, celebrating, uplifting, and understanding the immigrants that have called New York home now and across generations. Another city program for which culture is critical is IDNYC. IDNYC is designed to give undocumented residents and other people without formal ID access to a range of essential services. But to be successful, it needed to be broadly adopted by New Yorkers. To achieve this and to build cultural access into the DNA program, cultural groups stepped up from the very start to offer free memberships and other perks to IDNYC card holders. We're incredibly grateful to the more than 40 cultural groups who are currently IDNYC partners and to all of those who have been partners before. Cultural participation is and should be a birthright for all New Yorkers, and this program helps it to make a reality for so many. New York is full of amazing public art, including temporary and permanent works that pay tribute to our immigrant heritage. Mark Saldana's Somos Uno, currently installed by the New York City Parks Department in Traverse Park, Queens, is inspired by the traditional practices of the many cultures that make up the surrounding community, especially the contributions of immigrants. Again, in partnership with the Parks Department, our public art unit at DCLA has been working to commission a permanent public artwork honoring the historic Little Syria community that once flourished in Lower Manhattan. At PS 152 in Brooklyn, artist Arlen Hang's American Origins presents historical and contemporary educational material in subtle and surprising ways, focusing on the immigrant experience and the collective hope represented by our school system. As so many people came to this country with hopes of obtaining the best education and opportunities they could for their children. Not to mention one of the most famous sculptures in the world, located in our harbor, as an enduring reminder of New York's open arms and embrace of people who have arrived here from all over the world. My son loves the Statue of Liberty. Cultural groups have also stepped up to meet their neighbors' most urgent needs. And I've seen so many of you on the front line of this. In the pandemic, cultural groups became vaccination sites, food pantries, whatever their neighbors needed. During the ongoing influx of asylum seekers, cultural groups have organized donation drives across the city. The Whitney, BAM, LXNY, El Museo, and others have all collected donated goods. Chair Hanif, I know you've been working with the People's Theater Project, Lincoln Center, and others to organize an upcoming welcome event for asylum seekers, and we look forward to partnering with you. The list of essential services our cultural groups are providing for all New Yorkers in need, including immigrants, goes on and on. Another inspiring service cultural group offers are educational support and ceremonies for those seeking naturalization. I don't know if many of you knew, but the Tennant Museum, Lincoln Center, and the New York Historical Society, just to name a few, have provided such ceremonies where immigrants become U.S. citizens right within our cultural institution. In New York, culture is community. Finally, the Create NYC Cultural Plan, which has influenced so much of DCLA's work, included a range of recommendations specific to immigrant communities and directly led to the creation of the Language Access Fund I described earlier in testimony. Create NYC also laid out an ambitious vision for fostering a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive cultural community. And to create a cultural sector that looks and serves New York, that's got to include immigrants. So we're so proud of all the programs and work described in testimony today that offer immigrants meaningful ways to participate in and contribute to our city's rich cultural life. If you can believe this, this is our abbreviated testimony. As always, we believe that the best way we in city government can serve the needs of our cultural community is by working in close partnership. The Cultural Immigrant Initiative is just one of the most salient examples of the great ways we can partner together to serve our immigrant neighbors and all New Yorkers when we work together. I applaud the many incredible ways that our cultural community engages with New Yorkers from around the world and stand ready to support their work however we can. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at this time, and I thank you all so much for being here, and we are excited to answer your questions.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you to the entire DCLA staff. You guys are amazing, and that was a very in-depth testimony about all of the wonderful work that DCLA does in terms of how we interact with immigrant communities. I do want to dive into some of the role and activities that you did highlight in your testimony, but just to go more in depth and get more answers to questions on the record. DCLA has a lot of communities that it is mandated through Create NYC to serve, including people of color, people with disabilities, and members of the LGBTQIA+ community. With all of these demands, what priority does DCLA place on providing art access to immigrant communities and on celebrating the arts and cultures of these communities?
We are so excited that there are so many diverse cultural communities here in New York City, ranging from the LGBTQ community as well as so many of our immigrant and our disability communities, but we see all of them in the same way. We don't see them in terms of competing, but we certainly see them as how do we grow the funding pool so that we can serve all of our audiences better, more equitably, and with robust resources. I'm really proud of the investments we made, $500,000 for the language access. We also expanded the Coalition of the Theaters of Color, which you all made possible, which is so incredible, and I hope that that coalition continues to build. We also helped create the Cultural Immigration Fund in the City Council, and you all have taken that initiative and also expanded on that. And we're so proud of our capital investments in organizations, similarly that I read within the testimony, but we absolutely make sure that throughout all of our funding initiatives that we reach out to the immigrant community. We want to make sure, because the immigrant community is a part of the fiber of every single thing that we do. And so it's important that we recognize that we continue to partner and we make sure that those programs and initiatives that were created in the council, as well as the funding that the mayor has allocated towards language access and the Cultural Equity Fund, continue.
Before my next question, I also do want to acknowledge my colleague, Councilmember Farias, who's also a member on this committee. Thank you for joining us. There's no question that our cultural organizations and spaces play a huge role in supporting our families and youth, but access to these spaces can be difficult due to lack of funds for tickets or lack of transit to travel to these places. With more immigrant families and youth coming to our city, we are expecting these same barriers. There have been city programs such as IDNYC, which was included in your testimony, and the Library System's Culture Pass, as well as groups like Cool Culture that work to expand access to the cultural institutions. How is DCLA working to expand access to our cultural institutions for our immigrant families and youth?
Your question has so many of the answers written
Right.
right within it, and I'm so proud of those programs. Each of the initiatives that you outlined, from IDNYC to the Culture Pass, programs such as funding for organizations that are doing work such as the Cultural Immigration Fund, these are all outlets and opportunities for us to expand outlets and access to our cultural institutions. But we can always do more with more. Continuing to expand those initiatives, to continue to expand IDNYC, these are the ways that we continue to create access. So I feel like we have the right vehicles, we have the right pathways, we have the ability to create the access. We just have to continue to more robustly fund those programs so that they can reach even greater audiences, particularly as our population and our immigration populations are growing so rapidly. Increased funding would help us to increase the ability to have that access.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that response. And I do want to follow up that our libraries are serving as hubs to enroll people into IDNYC.
Yeah.
Will DCLA work with work with our cultural institutions to do this as well?
Oh, certainly. That's always something that we're looking to do, is to expand IDNYC and the outlets in which people can sign up for IDNYC. The libraries have proven to be a great partner, and we're certainly looking for more partners now that we're in this particular administration. We can really more robustly expand on IDNYC, because it was on pause during some of the time of the previous federal administration. But I would say that moving forward, more organizations are open to expanding IDNYC.
And speaking of funding and language access, on the Culture at 3 calls, which is a weekly call that brings together representatives from so many of our cultural organizations, there's a huge concern about increasing accessibility in the cultural space, whether that is through multilingual grant applications or funding for interpreters and translators. Does DCLA currently have any multilingual resources and services offered to immigrant-led / immigrant-serving cultural organizations and artists, particularly multilingual grant applications?
Thank you so much for that question. That is a very important issue that came up in the Create NYC, and we wanted to make sure as part of the cultural plan that that was certainly something as part of the reforms that we moved in that direction. So as part of the cultural equity reforms and as part of the reforms that we've done within the Department of Cultural Affairs, we certainly see language access to our programs as a priority. And so we do a number of workshops prior to our CDF application for organizations that have received capital funding. We are also doing workshops, and we have opportunities there where we're able to learn if people need help or assistance with language access, and to be able to help and support pre the application actually happening or coming online. So those are some of the programs that we do, but to offer the level of robust accessibility in terms of applications and panels in different languages, we have not graduated to that level yet, as the reforms that we've initiated are quite new, but it's certainly something that it's a goal of ours, because we believe that it's important for us to have as many entryways to the Department of Cultural Affairs as possible. It's certainly a goal, and with more money and with more resources, that is something that could become a reality if we're able to receive that level of support.
Thank you. And do you know how many languages as is are offerable to those that apply through the grant process?
It's not offered in different languages,
Okay.
but if an individual, in partnership with Moya, if an individual or an organization needs help and support in filling out the application, we can get them those services.
Okay. In addition to the CDF grants that DCLA has just made, do you have additional plans, perhaps citywide efforts, to serve our established and/or brand new immigrant populations? If so, what funding do you need to accomplish these plans?
Well, through our language access program, that is the number one way, as well as the Cultural Immigration Fund. Those are the major two vehicles that we have in terms of supporting that level of access and support. So that's one of the ways, but we also want to make sure that in the next cycles that we're able to continue to advocate for more resources and more funding. As more asylum seekers are coming to New York City, we certainly want to make them welcomed. As I stated in my testimony, we have a number of partnerships that we are working on with Moya, and I'm really excited about those partnerships because as asylum seekers are coming to New York City, the most effective way for people to feel welcomed here in New York is to see themselves and to see their culture here in New York City, to reconnect with people from the countries that they have come from and traveled from. And so we certainly recognize that that is a priority of this administration, for people to feel welcome, to understand that their culture is here, and we want to do more in terms of partnership with the Department of Cultural Affairs and Moya. But again, a lot of that work, frankly, we leave to the hands of the cultural institutions, because they really have the ability to get on the ground, to meet people where they're at. They are in these communities in all 5 boroughs, and we as a funding agency, our role is primarily to provide them with the resources to do the level of programming. I've met with many of our Latinx Cultural Consortium members, with the Asian American Consortium members, the Theaters of Color members, and they are all strategizing currently on ways that they can meet our asylum seekers right where they're at.
Thank you. I want to turn over to Chair Hanif for questions pertaining to the role and activities of DCLA in this matter.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to just build on the questions about IDNYC and particularly expanding IDNYC. What efforts are being made, and perhaps Moya could jump in too. Good to see you, Eileen. What proactive efforts are being made to expand IDNYC and its coverage? I know you've mentioned 40 cultural institutions or a little bit more accept it as a form of a real ID.
Right.
What's preventing more or other institutions to accept it, or what are some of the hurdles in expanding the program?
When IDNYC, and please feel free to elaborate as well, when IDNYC was first rolled out, the demand was so incredible, where so many people, so many individuals throughout New York City signed up so rapidly for the program. And really what IDNYC allowed was for organizations to offer memberships primarily to their cultural institutions. And so some organizations had difficulty with keeping up with the pace and offering free memberships to IDNYC members. And these memberships were usually pay-based memberships, but they were now offered for free. And so some organizations had difficulty keeping up with the demand, but the demand is actually a really great and good problem to have. So many of the organizations with increased capacity, with increased investment within their institutions, are then able to keep pace with the level of membership that then comes into their institutions. Because membership provides often free access, discounted tickets in the gift shop, membership opportunities, special events and programs, but it is an incredible and an enormous amount of work for organizations to keep track of, to keep demand and pace with the membership levels, the things that are promised as a result of the membership. So we are, during this time, as the city is reopening, the thing that Mayor Eric Adams wanted to do was that he wanted to create the greatest investment in New York City's cultural community ever. And that investment then allows organizations to ramp up through programs such as our Cultural Equity Fund, where organizations are going to get additional resources and funds. We cannot mandate that they become a cultural partner with the IDNYC program, but it's that level of investment into their infrastructure and their staffing and their sustainability that allows them to become a membership. But there's also going to be, increased opportunities for a push marketing campaign to really encourage other organizations to participate.
And I'll just add, I want to make sure that I acknowledge our colleagues at Department of Social Services because they are the ones that manage the program on the ground. But we go through a process every year in partnership with DCLA, in partnership with Department of Social Services, to think through how we can expand the program and add additional cultural partners, whether to provide membership or discounts. And so every year we go through that process. We're actually in the middle of that process now. We receive inquiries, but we also sort of brainstorm about the kinds of organizations that we want to invite to become part of the program. And they have an option of either becoming membership partners, where they're offering free memberships for 1 year, or providing a level of discount to performances. So it really varies, and it depends on how open organizations are and whether they can financially support the discount and membership offerings. And so we go through this process every year, and we will continue to do that. And once we have more news about who those new members are, we'll make sure to include the council in those communications.
Yeah, that's really wonderful to hear that there will be proactive outreach and engagement to expand cultural institutions that accept IDNYC.
Right.
And, I really look forward to seeing what kind of art will be used to expand IDNYC, and hope that the cultural institutions or arts organizations are involved in that process, as we've seen with various campaigns, for example, through the Commission on Human Rights, and local artists have really amplified the legislation we've passed around anti-discrimination practices in our city. I'd like to know between, in the last year, how many institutions were added that accept IDNYC? Has it grown? What has been the gradual growth, or has it always been this sort of 40 cohort institutions?
It varies, but it stays between 40 and 45, and it really just depends, right? Because it depends on what the status of different organizations are in the moment in time where we're asking them to renew their offerings.
So there's a renewal process that's happening
We
annually.
engage with all of our cultural partners every year to make sure that, one, they're okay to continue to participate in the program and also invite new members. And so right now we're in that process, and we hope to have an announcement in the coming months about who those new members are, what the offerings are, and how to access those.
That's really wonderful.
I just wanted to add, originally the program started with 33 organizations, and now it is 40 plus. So,
Sorry,
Go
and
ahead.
if I can just add quickly, it's not just cultural museums or other institutions. We have the botanical gardens, but we also have the theaters. We have a number of other, historical societies and other types of venues that provide discounts. And we've been able to grow the list from year to year. It's just because of the influx and with COVID and everything else, the numbers have changed, but we have been able to stick between 40 and 45 members. And the goal is to continue to add new members to create new interest in the program, both from all New Yorkers, especially our newest New Yorkers, which we're helping in a variety of ways, both at our navigation center and other locations, to enroll in IDNYC.
Great. And then, do we know how many IDNYC holders are visiting cultural institutions, museums, the gardens? Is there data that's tracking, or?
We have membership numbers, but we'd have to get back to you on the specifics of that.
That would be great. And I had one other question that, Eileen, as you were talking, came up, but I have now forgotten what that is. So would love to know how Moya is working with DCLA and immigrant advocacy organizations that promote the work of immigrant artist advocates.
So we're working in partnership with DCLA on a number of fronts, not just IDNYC, but with partnerships that are funded through DCLA. We actually did a summit in 2018 at BRIC in partnership with Art Space Sanctuary and No Longer Empty, to sort of talk about the different ways in which activist-led arts organizations can create public and welcoming spaces for immigrant communities. We were able to highlight a number of organizations to talk about how their activism really engages immigrant communities, and those included organizations like PEN America and Arts and Democracy, Project Luz, Culture Strike, and Witness. And that was a collaboration that we did in tandem with the Department of Cultural Affairs. It was a really great way for us to also share the different types of legal services that are available to the immigrant community, and how immigrant organizations can further share that information and resources with immigrants. And we also were able to talk a little bit about the city's services that are provided to immigrants regardless of immigration status. In addition, there are so many other ways in which we partner with DCLA. We work really closely with a number of community-based organizations, art and culture groups that are funded through the Grant for Cultural Impact. And we've been able to have a number of funded programs. Since I've been at the administration, at the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, I've led a number of projects, which I'm really proud of, all with the funding and support and guidance from DCLA. I came from El Museo del Barrio previous to working here at the administration, so art and culture is, something that I really love and sort of bring into everything that I do at the administration. And so we've done a number of projects. We've worked with Cuban artist Tanya Bruguera to work with a group of Spanish-speaking undocumented women in Queens to develop a program called Cycle News, where they went around in bicycles across all of Queens sharing information on the city's resources from trusted community voices. And so they went around and we created pictograms. We did a whole focus group and we issued pictograms in Spanish and then translated those into other languages in order to be able to reach other people about IDNYC, about Action NYC, our free legal services program, and about We Speak NYC, our English conversation classes. We've also had funded partnerships with the People's Theater Project, who I know is in the audience, over the course of 2 years to work with immigrant youth ages 14 to 24, both newly arrived, undocumented, and DACA youth. And they created 2 sets of plays that really talked about the immigrant experience and coming here to New York City and the challenges they faced and how some of the city's programs like IDNYC was really able to open doors for them. Additionally, we worked with National Queer Theater and Dixon Place to present the 2nd Annual National Criminal Queerness Festival, where we were able to focus and promote criminalized LGBTQIA artists from Venezuela, Syria, and Lebanon. And the list goes on. We work really closely with DCLA on a number of projects, both on the project and art side, on the IDNYC side, on the language access side, and we're proud to continue that work moving forward.
And I just want to add the project that you were referring to, I Still Believe in Our City, that citywide campaign that really grew out of the unfortunate onslaught of attacks on the Asian community, grew out of a partnership with Moya and the Department of Cultural Affairs and the Commission on Human Rights. We have a program called PAIR, Public Artists in Residence, where we take actual artists and they are placed in city agencies to help those agencies address systemic issues that they are facing in their agency through the lens of an artist. And that particular commission that you saw came out of a partnership with DCLA as well as Moya to create that citywide campaign that you saw all across the city.
That's really wonderful to hear and know that you all were in coordination with something so public that all New Yorkers have gotten to see and really understand the impacts of hate, violence, and discrimination in our city, and how arts is a real unifier, and to know that the artist behind that work is an Asian woman is also
That's right.
really incredibly important and urgent. So it's really wonderful to know the thoughtfulness behind what you've just described. And Eileen, the brevity of work and partnership that DCLA and Moya are doing is great to know too. Are there policy goals of Moya in relation to supporting the arts in immigrant communities or immigrant artists? I know that Moya has really asserted itself as a policy-oriented office and doesn't provide the same services as other agencies, so would love to know
we work in tandem with a number of agencies across the city and how best we can better serve immigrant communities. Part of that work, not necessarily so much policy specific, but a lot of that policy work is ongoing and developing, especially as we have been welcoming our newest New Yorkers these last couple of months. So we'll have more to share at some point. But with regards to art and culture specifically, a lot of what we do throughout the year, both during Immigrant Heritage Week in April and Immigrant Heritage Month in June, is an ability to partner with a number of cultural organizations to both promote and share the work that they're doing and the resources they're providing to immigrant communities. And we work with DCLA to both identify organizations who we might want to work with that we haven't worked with, particularly to engage them in the branding for Immigrant Heritage Week. We've always used an immigrant artist for the most part to develop the image and branding for both celebrations throughout the year. And that's come with guidance and support from DCLA. And they've also helped us identify individuals, organizations that we should be spotlighting during that time period. We also work with culturals all across the city, both the CIGs and outside of the CIG system, to be able to promote and share the work that they're doing. We do online promotions. Before COVID, we used to do hard copy brochures that we would distribute all across the city, sharing out what all of the organizations across the city were doing in celebration, in support, in providing crucial resources to immigrant New Yorkers.
Great, and I just remembered my other IDNYC question. How many of our newest New Yorkers, asylum seekers, have applied for IDNYC, and is that application process specifically and only at the Navigation Center?
So I don't have the numbers, but we know that we have been able to enroll a good amount of people at the Navigation Center, but that's not the only place where individuals can go. There are multiple locations across the city where folks can go and enroll. The Navigation Center is sort of a one-stop shop, so we include IDNYC as part of the other screenings that are done on site, and there have been Saturday hours made available for New Yorkers who are, are able to go during the weekend to enroll. So there are multiple touch points all across the city for newly arrived New Yorkers, and our satellite locations, which we just announced last year, will also be able to help people enroll in the program, at least at the applications stage, and then facilitate appointment making.
Yeah, that would be really critical for us to know in terms of ensuring that everyone coming in, that a dignified welcome means access to this ID, and then the hub of cultural institutions that are part of their welcome to New York City. So I look forward to that number, and would love to know from you, Commissioner Cumbo, how did you, in terms of the mandate to reach out to our newly arrived asylum seekers, what specifically do you believe is DCLA's mandate? Would love to know any upcoming campaigns or ideas that have come about as a result of almost 40,000, over 40,000 asylum seekers who are here. And I was really grateful to spend time with you and Eileen and the rest of the Moya team with Amal at Port Authority and several other locations with Amal, and just see the ways in which all of the young people really gravitated towards Amal, but really just the interruption of the violence that they've experienced.
That's right.
Coming through really horrifying terrain, and to have this moment of peace and calm and joy. I mean, to see the smiles, which, we got to see, the way in which they gravitated. And I was skeptical at first because I think most of us were just like, they need food, they need this, they need that. And then completely forgot about this sort of artistic component. So would love to know what else is sort of in the works and your kind of vision moving forward.
So I just wanted to back up to a question you asked before and then get to that question. I think in terms of the IDNYC program, I think if our offices could collaborate to get your offices in the city council the touch points where people can sign up for IDNYC so that you can get it to your constituents in a newsletter or other forms of communication would probably be very helpful to your community so that they know where that information lies so that they can sign up. So we should work together to absolutely collaborate on that to get that into your hands. I would also add as well that we've had communications and meetings with Moya in terms of events and programs that we're going to do as an agency together in partnership. One will be during National Immigration Heritage Week that will be coming up, but then also during that month of programming as well. But the main thing that we do as an agency is really to fund organizations to do that work. So I have met with, and they are going to testify here today, I've met with Latinx cultural coalitions who are on the ground doing that work. We were able, through the CDF fund, to provide funding to those organizations, and it's really for them who know how to do the partnerships, who know their audiences, who know their communities, how to get in there and do that type of programming. I would say that the organizations are most equipped to do that. As an agency, we really don't have the cultural talent within our agency to do it ourselves, although sometimes I try, but we definitely empower our cultural organizations to do that work. It's a different time now where, we recognize that the cultural community has to have that freedom of expression in order to tackle the issues that are greatly challenging the city today.
Thank you for that. And I want to pass it to my other colleagues. I have several more questions, but also just thank you for giving a shout out to the Bangladeshi Institute of Performing Arts. I personally like to take credit because Annie Firdaus, who was the executive director, founder, is from Kensington in my district.
Okay.
So real incredible work that they're doing to preserve Bangladeshi language, our language, our culture, heritage, but also creating and breaking the stigma around pursuing the arts as a career path. And so just really wonderful work, and grateful to know that the agency is supporting them.
Definitely.
Thank you, Chair Hanif, and thank you, Commissioner. I do want to acknowledge one of my colleagues who is joining us virtually, Councilmember Hudson, and I know that we have a question from Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you, Chair Osei and Hanif, for this very important hearing. So happy to see you, Commissioner.
You as well.
Two quick questions, because I think your opening statement answered a lot of things. So thank you for that. Two quick questions. The first one is in the CDF grantees that you've mentioned that's expanded through your agency, I wanted to know how are they supporting new arrivals to address suicide, to basically support suicide prevention efforts, as well as human trafficking efforts to make sure that we're managing the process. So I wanted to know how those CDF grantees were supporting those, because I know we've all seen the same information in the news about what's happening to those families. And the second question was in regards to our new arrivals who are public school students and initiatives that you created when you were a council member under CASA and Cultural Immigrant Initiative. How much more funding do you think is needed for these citywide initiatives in order for us to expand the program so that they can also experience what other students experience through those grants? Thanks.
Just speaking frankly, and my team's probably gonna kick me under the table about it, but just to speak perfectly frankly about how this works. As an agency, we cannot dictate what a cultural organization should apply for funding for. So I have, as a commissioner, I have big ideas of what I think that the cultural community should be doing, but I cannot impose my social justice or my goals or my objectives, or to look at the breadth of what the city is currently facing and say, because I tried to go in there and do that, and to say the city's cultural institutions need to be addressing these issues, whether it's issues facing our transgender community, suicide, domestic violence, the pandemic, COVID. Each cultural organization has the freedom to be able to address the issues or the cultural desires of their particular organization. And so we don't have the ability to mandate that, but through hearings such as this, where you're asking those questions and we're having this discussion and the cultural institutions are hearing about the issues of the day, you would hope that many of them would say, you know what, I think this is an area we should focus in. I'm going to write a grant on that particular issue. I mean, I remember when I was a cultural leader, we didn't necessarily have the freedom to think that there are social justice issues such as Black Lives Matter, police brutality, gun violence. We didn't believe we were empowered to write those types of grants and to do that type of programming because of how it might impact government and the decisions they make. But we have moved in leaps and bounds as a society, and for myself as commissioner of this agency, I really want organizations to feel empowered. If you want to address or tackle those issues, this is not an agency that's going to shy away from it. And so we hope that many organizations will. But we also have to look at many of the asylum seekers came during this particular budget cycle. So for the next budget cycle, I'm sure and confident we're going to see many organizations who are going to apply to the Department of Cultural Affairs to address suicide prevention, issues with the pandemic, the issues with that many of the asylum seekers are facing right now. These are going to be the issues that when our applications open up in February, that we will see more organizations applying for.
That's my hope. That's why I brought it up. I was also going to ask, if that didn't happen and if you didn't have the capacity, is there an opportunity for RFP to be put out to the organizations in order to ask their support in order to provide those services? And the second one was in regards to the funding, like how much funding do you think is needed in order to expand CASA or Cultural Immigrant Initiative in the next fiscal budget in order to support our new arrivals who are public school students?
Excellent question. The first one in regards to, say it again?
No problem.
You could just say, I just need like
Regarding
one
the
or two
RFP
words.
process.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So our agency does not issue RFPs, but if you're talking about issues like suicide prevention, many of the other social service agencies of the City of New York do that work. We do a panel review process. It's an application. We have panels that meet in May and June who review those proposals, and then we issue funding in that way. But we don't issue RFPs to handle many of the larger social issues. But it is certainly something to consider and think of, because the issues that we're facing are so unprecedented that it might call for unprecedented solutions. But as this agency currently stands, we don't RFP out. We do a panel review process. And the second part of your question? CASA.
CASA and Cultural Immigrant Initiative.
So from my time on that side of the table, CASA and SUCASA and Theaters of Color, those are initiatives that the council has to negotiate with the mayor for increased funding on your side. We on our side as DCLA, we cannot increase CASA funding, but when you get in those borough delegations and you all start to decide if it's gonna be 17 CASAs or 20 CASAs, which means that maybe something else might not get funded, that's a decision solely that the council has to make. Thank goodness I don't have to make those decisions anymore, but that certainly lies in your power, and I look forward to working with the cultural institutions in your CASA program.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. I'm going to go on to some more questions. You mentioned two council initiatives that our immigrant artists and organizations benefit from, the Cultural Immigrant Initiative and the Coalition of the Theaters of Color. The two biggest concerns that I have heard from organizations about the council discretionary funding process is one, the intricate application, and two, the speed of the contracting process and how it slows down the reimbursement of the funds. So I would love to know first, while the process is a council process, how is DCLA working to support and provide resources to organizations, especially smaller organizations, which are often immigrant-led orgs that do not have grant writers or the bandwidth to fill out the council application? And then secondly, and I can repeat these questions again, how is DCLA working to speed up the contracting process?
Okay. Excellent questions. All excellent questions, ones that we grapple with. You can kick me under the table again, Lance. So the process in which the applications are coming out is going to be revolutionized this year. We have a new computer system called Salesforce. We're creating a more streamlined process. Last year was the first year that we just no more paper. It's now a paperless process. And for those of you who are in this audience, and I've seen some of you at the post office at midnight trying to get your application stamped before the deadline, when you're cutting the line and you don't care because it's got to be in by 12, we've ended that process. We've done it online this year, but now the process is going to be even more streamlined so that we don't have to go through that type of process that has been so cumbersome. As part of the reforms, we raised the floor from $5,000 to $10,000. So organizations that were applying for $5,000, it really wasn't worth it for them economically. So we've changed that to $10,000. We do a series of seminars before each application comes online. It's so critical for organizations to participate. Sometimes some groups say, like, I'm going to wait till the last minute, or I don't need that level of help. Every organization that applies to the Department of Cultural Affairs, big or small, you should participate in this workshop because the application changes from year to year and you want to put forward a more competitive application. So those things, we're also going to get it out earlier. Because of the pandemic, because it was a new administration, everything was happening in a very new way. And so things got delayed a bit this year, but it's going to be done more effectively this year. And for the initiatives, I have been advocating for a very long time that the council and the administration, we need to get the initiatives in by the close of the budget, June 30th. Oftentimes on the council side, we have always had extended time to put in our initiatives. If we put them in, the sooner the council and the administration can work together to get those initiatives in, such as CASA, SUCASA, Cultural Immigration Fund, we can get the funding into the hands of the cultural organizations quicker. Because if we delay the process, it delays the process for the entire initiative. If everyone gets theirs in before June 30th, we can get that money out the door quicker, and that would be a huge lift to the cultural community, and I really hope to work with you on that.
Absolutely. Please, feel free to tap into our office, and we want to move in tandem in terms
That's
of
right.
making sure that that gets done. We know that DCLA has fared better than most agencies in the current budget process, thanks to you and to Mayor Adams. That is that there is no substantial effect of any PEG on DCLA-supported efforts. What has this reprieve enabled DCLA to do?
The Department of Cultural Affairs did not technically receive a PEG, but inflation happens each and every year. So not receiving a PEG or a cut to our budget does not mean that we had a surplus. It means that we were able to fund many organizations. As I said, we were able to fund 125 new organizations that had not received funding in the last budget cycle. So what that opportunity of not being subjected to the PEG did was allow us to get organizations who were receiving $0 some dollars in order to be able to do additional programming. But the City of New York has tasked the cultural community with bringing us back after this COVID pandemic. The cultural community is responsible for attracting tourists to the City of New York, for putting people in hotels, for getting them to shop in our clothing stores, to getting them into restaurants, to being in our cabs. The cultural community has that task and take it on gladly of bringing back the economy of the City of New York. And so to not invest in that community adequately would create a situation where the city's recovery would slow down. And so the investment that we received, as well as not being subjected to the PEG, is not in a way to favor our industry or advance our particular agency over others, but we have a huge task of being a major part of the recovery. And I'm so glad that the council, as well as the mayor, recognize the importance of making sure that we need to adequately invest in our cultural community in order to bring back the city. Because without a tourism industry here in New York City, we fail. And so that is why that level of funding and support was so critical.
Thank you. And in the just finished CDF grant making from DCLA to arts and cultural organizations across the city, how well do you feel DCLA was able to serve our immigrant communities? For example, was there sufficient money to fund the efforts of immigrant-led organizations and of organizations dedicated to serving immigrant communities? And also, what percentage of funded organizations were directly related to serving immigrants?
As I said in my testimony, we do not ask specifically, will an organization or does an organization specifically serve immigrant communities. But what I will say is DCLA awarded the most funding to the largest number of cultural organizations ever. More than 82% of groups led or founded by people of color saw an increase in their baseline awards. We doubled the minimum grant from $5,000 to $10,000, as I said, a major benefit for smaller groups who saw their average baseline awards increase by 67%. Successful applications from first-time applicants also jumped from 47 in the previous competitive cycle to 125 organizations. And just to add as well, we know that most of our immigrant-rich neighborhoods tend to be served by smaller POC-led groups, and that's the category which benefited tremendously from the reforms. So this reform process is really what helped and bolstered our immigrant community and POC-led organizations for receiving more funding than they ever have before. I mean, if you think about it, 47 organizations in the last competitive cycle, which was 3 years ago, were funded. This year it was 125, and you know that 125 are smaller, POC-led groups. This was really a way to advance the sector on so many levels, particularly for our organizations of color.
Thank you, and that is my final question. We're going to move on to final questions from Chair Hanif, and then we're going to move on to in-person public testimony, because I do know that a lot of you folks want to be heard, and you should be. Chair Hanif?
Thank you so much. First, I just like to acknowledge the students and the young people here. I don't know what the assignment is, but would love a follow-up if there was some assignments. And also, feel free to tag both Councilmember Chiosei and myself. I'm on Instagram at Shahana from BK. He's at Chiosei. If you've learned anything from today's question-answer portion of this hearing, and I hope you're sticking around for the public testimony. So would love to know about, why is access to the arts so important, given that asylum seekers are in our city and they need everything from food to housing to clothing to education. Could you just speak about the importance of ensuring that we keep art in that bucket too?
It's probably my favorite question. Individuals, people, we need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, we need to be able to provide for our families, we need health, we need, as you saw, so many of the families needed health care. They needed all of those resources. But what art and culture does most profoundly is it feeds the soul. And if you don't feed your soul, I don't really even know what that makes you. And so it's important that we not only feed people in terms of food and resources, but we have to get to the intrinsic value of a human being. Culture brings people to life. Without the experiences of culture, so many people during the pandemic experienced extreme levels of depression. They were cut off from socialization. They were cut off from being able to go to a museum, a theater performance. I mean, imagine a world where you're not able to watch a film, you're not able to listen to music, you're not able to eat the foods of your community, you're not able to do the dances of your culture. What would you really be doing with yourself if you couldn't turn on a radio and hear a symphony or your favorite hip hop artist? If you're not able to do those things, you're not really living life. And so it's important for us to make sure that our asylum seekers, immigrants that are new to our country, are coming here but are welcomed, but are also welcomed with their intrinsic right of cultural rights. You have a right to experience your culture, you have a right to experience your heritage, and that's really what this country is based on in terms of moving forward. Our diversity is our greatest asset. And if we don't benefit from all the cultural assets that all of the great communities are bringing to our community, we're really missing out as a country. And so I'm proud to work with Mayor Eric Adams. Let me tell you, in previous administrations, historically, whenever budget times are tough, the first thing to go is arts and culture. When a school has to make significant cuts, the first thing they cut is art and culture. But this administration decided we are not cutting art and culture, we are doubling down on art and culture, we are making the largest investment in art and culture, and that's a very revolutionary concept to think that We are in a time in an administration where they are pushing forward art and culture in unprecedented ways. And this, I hope, vibrates throughout the rest of this country, that we have to put art and culture not only in this situation, but it has to be in every school. It has to be in every after-school program. It has to be in everything from transportation to solutions, as Councilmember Farrah Lewis talked about. It's got to be part of the solution for public safety, for domestic violence, for suicide. Art has to be a part of the toolkit of every social issue that we are facing in the city of New York.
Thank you so much. And with that, I wrap up my questions.
Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to Brenda McKinney to move on to public testimony.
That's it.
Yep. Thank you so much. This is the end of
Thank
the
you so much.
administration's testimony. Thank you. So thank you to the administration. We will now move to the public testimony portion of this hearing. If you just give us one moment, we will call the first panel. We will just be transitioning. We'll begin again in 1 minute. Thank you. So I'm going to begin by reading the names of the first witnesses on the first panel. If you hear your name, please come to the dais. If these individuals are not present, I will read additional names. So the first panel will be George Xu, Raymond Shang, Timothy Wong, and Ah-Lin Lim. Just one moment. Okay, so I'll read the names again, and then I'm going to read 4 additional names. And for the record, we'd like to recognize that Councilmember Krishnan has joined us at the hearing. Okay, so the names again are George Xu, Raymond Shang, Timothy Wong, and Ah-Lin Lim. I'm going to call additional names: Chi Yung, Wallace H. Jing, Peter Wong, Yi Andy Chen, and William Su. Okay, I'm going to call additional names: George Lee, Xu Zhang, Rang Bao, Denny Chen, okay, apologies. We've had some transitions, so we're going to call the names of the individuals for the first panel again. We'll just wait one moment. So if you are present and hear your name, you may come to the dais to testify. George Xu, Raymond Shang, George Xu, Raymond Shang, Timothy Wong, Ah-Lin Lim. Right, one moment, please. Okay, I'm just going to read the names of the panelists for the first panel again. George Shu, Raymond Chang, Timothy Wong, Alin Lim.
This side. Hello, hello.
So we will be beginning the public testimony portion of this hearing. We'll be starting with in-person testimony. We have several panels of in-person testimony, and then we'll move to remote testimony. So just as a reminder, the committees will also accept remote testimony for up to 72 hours after the finish of the hearing, the end of the hearing. You can submit it to testimony@council.nyc.gov. We'll begin with the first panel. We'll be calling panelists one at a time by name. There is a 2-minute clock, and there's a clock on the wall, so you may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock after we've called your name. The first panelist is George Shu. You may begin when ready. Thank you. Please push the button so you can see the red light.
Yeah, it's good right now. Good morning. My name is George Su. I'm the president of Chinese Business Association of New York. I'm speaking in support of the 2 resolutions, which will make Lunar New Year's Day an official holiday in our city and on the federal level. The resolutions will allow a makeup day if the Lunar New Year's Day lands on a weekend. I want to thank Councilmember Christopher Mate and Councilmember Sandra Ahn and the other council members on this committee and their staff for the tremendous effort of making the resolutions possible. Hopefully, mayor's office, everybody can support this and then eventually put on a vote. And I'm an immigrant 37 years ago. I went through my high school years in Chinatown, and I had to take a day off for the New Year's Day, you know, if it's a weekday, and I wish that I didn't have to, so I don't have to miss any classes. So it's been a long time, and then the day we're getting closer, and hopefully it's going to be absolutely official, and even on weekends, and then we have a makeup day. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for coming out to support this. Have a great day.
Thank you for your testimony. The next witness is Alin Lim. You may begin your testimony when the sergeant starts the clock, when you're ready. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming to support this resolution. My name is Amy Lim Kuchir. I'm the office manager of 2 law offices in Chinatown. I live in Chinatown and I work in Chinatown. And I'm from Malaysia. And I think the traditional of the Chinese New Year be a public holiday is very important. And I think this is not only the public holiday is important, but it's also respecting our culture. Be a public holiday is respecting our culture. And I hope everyone support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next witness will be Raymond Chang. You may begin when ready.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Honorable Council Chairs Ose and Hanif and other council members. I'm the current president of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association. We're going on 140 years serving Chinatown. And I am honored to be here speaking today as someone that grew up in New York City, attended New York City public schools, and I also have 2 children that are currently in public schools that were fortunate enough to have Lunar New Year's recognized up until this year. So they are both 9 and 10, and they've had Lunar New Year's as a holiday, and they were wondering this year, it's like, Dad, what happened? How come they're not recognizing Lunar New Year's this year? And it's very hard to explain to them the reasons why, because there's just too much going on, and I don't want to give them an answer that doesn't make sense, or they could just go on Google and find out that I'm lying to them. So I hope that next year they'll be able to celebrate and get Lunar New Year's recognized. And I do hope that everyone here supports the resolutions being pushed by Council members Marte as well as Sandra Ong. And we hope that Lunar New Year's will be recognized. The Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association, we've been serving Chinatown for, like I said, 140 years. And Lunar New Year's is definitely a very important holiday to not just Chinese communities, but all Asian communities. And being one of the largest overseas cities with Asian population, I believe it is very important for New York as well as the entire country to recognize Lunar New Year's as a celebrated holiday. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much to the first panel. We'll now move to the second panel of witnesses. I will call the names of all the witnesses on the panel. If you can please come to the dais, to the table. Chi Young, Wallace H. Zhang, Yi Andy Chen, Peter Wong, and William Su. I'll repeat them again. Chi Young, Wallace Zhang, Peter Wong, Yi Andy Chen, William Su. We can also come back to anyone we missed. Okay, so Chi Young, okay. We'll begin with your testimony next, and you may begin your testimony when the clock begins and when you're ready. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Chi Yang, and I'm very happy to come for this meeting today. And I think it's very important for the, we have the Chinese New Year Day for us, for our culture, and for every year, right? Because every Chinese people, it's a very big day for us for this to celebrate our New Year, and we like to have a holiday to have that day so we can have all our kids and family go together and to celebrate our important day. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next witness, is it Wallace Zhang? You, Mr. Zhang, Peter Wong?
Oh, Andy.
You're Yi Andy Chen?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Chen, you may begin your testimony when ready.
First of all, I'd like to thank the committee chair, Ose, and all the council members in this committee for this hearing. And I think this resolution is long overdue. I've been in this New York City, in this city for 20 years. I'm a product of New York City public school product, and I didn't get a day off, right? Who doesn't like a day off? But more importantly, it's not just a day off, it's a day to be able to be somewhere that we have the rights and the freedom to practice our culture and continue to practicing our religious. And for myself, as an advisor for Global Community Center, that we focus on really motivate and inspire a lot of youth development, that I think it is very important what we have going to pass along to our young generations and generations to come. It is our culture and religious, and do not forget about where we come from. And also, I think this resolution is all about equality, inclusion, and diverse. And also, we often to say, Asian American history, a part of American history. I think we should starting to say, it is American history, period. And I think this resolution also creating the mutual understanding and respect, learning from each other. And we don't differentiate ourselves by having different culture. Instead, we should using it as a platform where we bring each other together by learning each other for the uniqueness, not the differences. And also, I think as an immigrant here in New York City or anywhere, continuing practice our culture and religious is a fundamental and human rights. So we can feel home here and raise our generations to come. I'd like to shout out to Councilmember Christopher Mate. What he did last year is he did not also keeping the bilingual street signs in Chinatown, Manhattan, but also expanding the bilingual street signs. I think this is a sign, something respecting our culture, telling our community that, you know what, all the council members here with us, that this is what New York City means for. And, you know, lastly, I would like to, you know, bring in a little challenge to all the council members, of course, all the council members from New York City that, you know, we in next few weeks we have a lot of Lunar New Year celebration coming out. We like to invite you to join one of us Lunar New Year event. And you know, if you can post on the social media, I think this is something that we have to do in New York City as one of the most diverse city in the whole world. So thank you for having us here today, and this is very important. This is the time that we're getting to recognize the multicultural city in the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and also, Chi, you have a really great name. You have a really great name.
Can I just make a comment? Thank you so much for that challenge. I'll actually be in Philly during Lunar New Year weekend, and I'm going to be eating good food. But a lot of the residents there and the businesses there are organizing to push back against the arena that is being proposed that would take away the bustling, vibrant Chinatown. So everything you said, yes, and then of course the organizing that's happening to preserve and push back against big real estate and any entities that would move our communities away, displace us. So thank you.
Thank you so much, the members of this panel. We'll now call the members of the next panel. And if there's anyone that we have inadvertently missed, or if you missed your name, we will call the witnesses that have submitted slips again before moving to remote testimony. The next witnesses and the next panel will be George Lee, Zhu Jiang, Rong Bao, and Denny Chen. So again, it's George Lee, Zhu Jiang, Rong Bao, and Denny Chen. We'll just wait one moment. And I know that there are some students that wanted to testify. You're on the next panel. If you want to wait and testify, you'd be on the next panel. We'll just wait one moment for transition.
Guys, do me a favor, just quiet down while you make your exit.
We'll just wait one moment for transition. Okay, we'll now move to the next panel. So George Lee, Mr. Lee? Okay, George Lee, Zhu Jiang. Okay, you may begin your testimony when ready. The clock is on the wall. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As the assistant principal of New York Tutoring Center in Flushing, the largest tutoring center in New York City, I'm so excited to be here today to speak for thousands of Asian American kids and their parents who we serve day to day in our community. And also as the president of Chinese Laundromat Business Association and the NYC Small Business Advisory Committee member appointed by Mayor Eric Adams, I would like to voice up for thousands of our fellow Asian business owners who are also Asian American parents across New York City. In the past years, we, including myself, have joined together and attended Lunar New Year parades and other Lunar New Year celebration events. many times each year with our family and friends, which took place in Manhattan, Flushing, Brooklyn, where tens of thousands of fellow New Yorkers participated and enjoyed in each event. The number keeps increasing every year. However, till today, it is still not an official holiday for us in the city, the greatest city for all. I urge the city, under the current administration of Mayor Eric Adams, to step forward and set the day as an official holiday. This will mean a lot for the Asian American community to feel included in the city. Thanks all City Council members for your consideration, and thanks all for your strong support today. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next witness is Denny Chen. Rong Bao?
Danny Chen.
Denny Chen, okay. Mr. Chen, you may begin your testimony when ready, and the clock is on the wall. Thank you.
Good morning, all the council honorable member, and all the people coming to support this resolution. Good morning. My name is Danny Chen. I'm the Hotel Chinese Association president. Our organization has been serving our hotel Chinese workers since 2007. We are capable of helping them to achieve the goal in the different kind of hotel work. Now we all come, I'm honored to be here to voice out for them. Chinese Lunar New Year is such an important day for us, for our family. We can use the day to celebrate, get together, and extend our culture, and making them more understand our culture in the future. That's not only in our family, in New York City also. Every year, Lunar New Year is such a big thing for New York City. It could be said around the world. Every time we have that time coming, without a holiday in place, we are kind of struggle. We would like to, all the council members, giving us that opportunity to extend our culture and make New York City greater again. That's what we like to see it. Now I'm appreciate, what Chris Marte and Andrew Ng put that on the board. So hopefully we could make that happen. Maybe to this year and next year, that could be okay too. Thank you very much.
Thank you to this panel and for your testimony. So I'll now read the names of the next witnesses and the next panel. And one more time, we will read the names of everyone that submitted a witness slip who might have missed their name or wasn't present, just to make sure we don't inadvertently miss anyone. The next panel will be Alex Farman from Avenue School, Lola Bird from Avenue School, Anderson Dang, and Thomas Ong. And I'll read the names one more time. Thomas Ung, Anderson Dang, Lola Bird, Alex Farman. If your name was called, please come to the table.
Good morning, Honorable Council. Thank you to the chair and
just one moment, just so we have your name for the record. Thank you so much. And just to check, so you are Mr.
Sure, I'm Alex Farman.
Alex Farman, okay. You may begin your testimony when ready. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Honorable Council. Thank you to the chair and associates for organizing this hearing. This issue is certainly an important cultural matter, which I'm excited to see come to the floor. I represent the Avenue School Model UN team and the Avenue School Law Review. Both institutions are vocal supporters of the recognition of the Lunar New Year as a holiday by the City Council. As a student at an international school, such as Avenues, we see a diverse realm a diverse population of students, especially in the realm of nationality. Jewish and Christian holidays are recognized, many of which are celebrated by far fewer people than the Lunar New Year. The recognition of it would be an important step towards greater understanding of international culture citywide. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next witness, are you Mr. Ong, Thomas Ong? We'll go to Anderson Dang. Okay, Mr. Dang, you may begin your testimony when ready. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, good morning all. Oh, actually, good afternoon. Yeah, perfect time to be here. I'm here to support the City Council resolution by Christian Marty for the Lunar New Year to recognize the holiday in the school and the New York City. So this year is the year of a rabbit, specifically the water rabbit, which symbolizes longevity, peace, and prosperity. It's very important to be healthy and united all together, right? So this holiday I celebrate and I recognize it, and as an immigrant, as a resident here for many, many years. So this holiday, we do celebrate for all the Asian people together. So the kids, the family, all together. One, is good for the economic. Second, is good for the all culture sensitivity. And three, is it really fit into our New York City culture, the melting pot, and diversify cultural people all here. So I'm here really strongly support the resolution here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The next witness is Lola Bird. You may begin when ready.
Okay. Hello, Honorable Council. My name is Lola Bird. I've been taking Chinese for 8 years, and in that time, I've learned so much about the Lunar New Year and from my amazing teachers at Avenues. Learning about the Lunar New Year has brought me closer to the Chinese culture. It's such a beautiful and special holiday, and I've loved learning about the history and traditions that come with the celebration. For these reasons, I believe that it needs to be recognized as a holiday. Thank you.
Hun Hao.
Thank you so much for your testimony. And then the last witness on this panel is Mr. Thomas Ong. You may begin when ready. Thank you.
Council, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I put down on the slip, appearance slip, that I represent myself because I have diverse hats. You know, I'm a 70-year-old American of Asian descent. So many years behind me I can talk about, and I won't make it a filibuster. I'll talk here for all day, but I'm a product of the New York City. I'm born and raised in Astoria, New York, in the back of a Chinese laundry, and I'm proud of that. I'm not ashamed at all. And my father is a World War II veteran, served in the United States Army during World War II, and at which time he became a citizen back then. After you serve, you become a citizen. He went back to China, married his girlfriend or whatever, signed bride back then, and they came. And they came and they gave birth to me in the early 50s in the back of, I was in the hospital actually, but they lived in it's not that old. They lived in the back of a laundry, and you know, I was born and raised in Astoria. Went to PS5, PS10, you know, nice public school system back in the day, in the 50s and 60s. It was wonderful. And I had a great experience. 14 years old, I hit 8th grade, and I was told, as any good American of Chinese descent, you must go to Brooklyn Tech. So I had to try out for the specialized high school, got in, had to shift from Astoria down to Chinatown apartment to take a train, one stop over to Brooklyn Tech rather than 12 stops or 100 stops from Astoria. So did my 4 years, came out, and pursued an engineering degree, was open enrollment, pursued an engineering degree but I got an ROTC scholarship for a private college at the University of Akron. So I went out there. 2 years later, they had next year they had the draft lottery. Well, I couldn't even win that one, number two. Number two in the draft lottery, I wound up in the Army, and I served 3 years in the Army, and they wanted me to do other things and become an officer and go directly into combat as soon as I graduate. being a good New York smart kid, I go, why are there openings? So I declined, and they made me a military policeman, at which time I came back I survived, obviously, and I came back to the States, and military police in 3 years. I came back, and I joined the New York City Police Department. That's my, civilian qualification. Did 25 years in police world, and I retired as a second-grade detective, went on to insurance companies, was a manager, blah, blah, blah. The reason I say that, give a little background, is when I was in the police department, I was the number 10 police officer in 1979 of Chinese descent. Now we have 2,000. So and I helped form, we had 3 of us in the academy. So it's a mass influx of Asians into the police department. So we formed the Asian Jade Society in 1980 with 12 members. And now we're up to 2,000 plus. So I'm very happy to have been part of the root and the founding spirit back in 1980. And also along the way, as a veteran, my father was in the American Legion. I proudly serve now as the vice commander of the Chinatown Post, which happens to be just location. It's part of the National American Legion structure, so we just happen to be the post in Chinatown. We try to promote events for our other leaders. We do parade. We do a color guard for the parade as soldiers, as veterans. We wear our uniforms and we need it, and we're very proud to be Americans. And now that we're talking about recognizing, our culture as part of a mainstream American life, I spent my whole life trying to be American. I know I'm an American, but everybody else in society, in Astoria and high school and Akron, Ohio, didn't see me as an American when I went to college. They didn't see me as an American. They always saw me as a foreigner. So I think as other groups, and our city is very diversified now, and we're trying to be inclusive. We're recognizing other groups, ethnic, social, religious, as Americans. So I think by passing this resolution, it's our time now that you can vote on saying, yes, the Chinese are Americans. We used to have to take off for school. My one absence a year was to go stay home with my parents and celebrate the Chinese New Year. So I think it's about time we cut the cord and make America include the Chinese as Americans. Thank you.
Thank you, the members of this panel. We'll now move to the next panel.
And just a housekeeping reminder, it was.
For which? I'm going to check them now. Yeah, thank you so much. And then we have another student, Ezra Khan. Okay, and we're going to read we have several more panels for in-person testimony. So I'm first going to check for individuals that I missed. If you hear your name, please come to the dais or the table. The next witnesses will be Ezra Khan from Avenues. If Ezra Khan is here. Rong Bao, George Lee, Wallace Zhang, Peter Wong, William Su, Timothy Wong, Edward Cuccia. Thank you. Okay, so we'll call the name of the witness. The first witness will be Edward Cuccia. You may begin your testimony when ready.
Thank you. My name is indeed Edward Cuccia, and thank you for calling me. To the panel, thank you for hosting this event. I'm an attorney, and I have the great good fortune to not be ethnically Asian, but to be married to someone who is ethnically Asian. And my family has celebrated the Lunar New Year for many, many years. And it has been a difficulty that the Lunar New Year is not respected. And I think that this is what this is all about, respect. And I think that as a non-Asian, my voice maybe carries a bit of weight. I believe that the Lunar New Year must be celebrated, and I strongly am in favor of this proposal. The Lunar New Year must be respected. The Asians among us must be respected, and those who love the Asians among us must be respected. So yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next witness will be Ezra Khan. Mr. Khan, you may begin your testimony when ready. Please make sure the red light is on the microphone. Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ezra Khan, and currently I'm a student at Avenues The World School. Avenues is a bilingual school, and I'm currently learning Chinese there. Currently, my mom is also a citizen of Hong Kong, and because of this, I've been immersed into the rich Chinese culture, and I've been to countless Chinese New Year celebrating with my mom's closest friends. My own ethnicity is Jewish, and because of this, each year I'm able to celebrate my own culture with my friends and family because we, as Jewish people, get a day off for the Jewish New Year. Furthermore, I think it is imperative for Chinese people to be able to celebrate their own culture with their friends and family during their own Chinese New Year.
Thank you to this panel. This concludes this panel, and we'll now move to the next panel of witnesses. I will list all of the names. If you can please approach the table. Lisa Elpert from Greenwood Cemetery, Lisa Golds from the Asian American Arts Alliance, Sami Abu Shamais, apologies for any mispronunciations, from Flushing Town Hall, and Jane Lee from the Brooklyn Children's Museum.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Lee, is it Jane Lee? Okay, from the Brooklyn Children's Museum, you are the first witness, and you may begin your testimony when ready. The clock is on the wall. Thank you so much. And just when you begin your testimony, just make sure you can see the red light on the microphone. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Jane Lee. I am Coordinator of Programs and Engagement for Brooklyn Children's Museum, BCM. BCM is a community museum in Crown Heights and the world's first children's museum. We serve 300,000 children and caregivers annually, most of whom hail from our borough. Over 35% of Brooklynites, almost 1 million people, are immigrants from another country. BCM has been serving New York's immigrant communities since its inception in 1899, but in 2016, the museum recognized a particular need to make large gathering spaces for celebration available to immigrant communities, create and offer reflective programming, and create paid opportunities for immigrant artists and performers. With the support from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs and the New York City Council, BCM started to host monthly, sometimes even more than monthly, cultural festivals that reflect the diversity of our borough. My job is to work with community curators to plan and coordinate these events. For each festival, we partner with a community-based organization or artistic partner to hire visual artists, musicians, dancers, DJs, storytellers, and food vendors from that community. BCM provides free space for artisans to sell on our roof, and we offer free tickets to our partner organizations to provide for their communities. A few examples include, in April, we celebrated Holi with New York City's largest family Porter Party, hosted in partnership with Anja Dance, Jiva Dance, DJ Dynamite, and other several visual artists. Later in the spring, BCM hosted one of Brooklyn's largest family celebrations for Eid al-Fitr in partnership with Council Member Shahana Hanif. The event brought together performers from Bangladesh Institute for the Performing Arts, the Muslim Community Network, the Culture Tree, and Turkish Cultural Center. Our partners at APNA and Rethink Foods provided 500 free halal meals. In August, BCM hosted Celebrate the Caribbean in partnership with the West Indian American Carnival Day Association, WIATCA, Dancers from Carnival, Sesame Flyers International, and steel pan drumming workshops with Harmony Music Makers. In November, we hosted Dia de los Muertos, curated by Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn artist Benjamin Rojas. Families learned about traditions of honoring their ancestors with the help from dance troupe Setelisti Nancampa, puppeteer Karina Onofre, and artist Emushkane Artisan. In January, our Lunar New Year programs was Welcome the Year of Rabbit in partnership with Chinatown Community Young Lions, the New York Chinese Cultural Center, storyteller Yobi Chu, and calligraphy artist Nelson Leung. I'm very excited about this year's program since the Year
We'd
of the
love it
Rabbit.
if you could wrap it up. We
Okay.
have many more testimonies, but really appreciative of your testimony.
So this year's Lunar New Year program, I'm very excited about that because it's my zodiac year as well. And I just want to wrap it up and say thank you to DCLA and the City Council for your support. Special thanks to Council Member Chi Osei, Crystal Hudson, Shahana Hanif, Vito Joseph for their participation at BCM's cultural festivals. I have calendars of BCM Spring Cultural Festivals with me today, and we're delighted to have Council's member join us for any event. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony, and thank you for everyone's patience today. We do have about 15 panels with remote panels. So the next witness will be, I apologize in advance, but Sami Abu Shamiz.
Sorry, before you, your testimony, Sammy, we are going to be pretty strict on the 2-minute testimonies today. The mayor's coming out with his preliminary budget hearing, and happens to be right, during this. So please try to keep it to the 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Sami Abu Shamiz, you may begin your testimony when ready.
Sure. I'm Sami Abu Shamiz, Deputy Director of Flushing Town Hall. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. At Flushing Town Hall, we've been serving the immigrant communities of Queens with culturally relevant arts programming for 44 years, since our founding in 1979 as Flushing Council on Culture and the Arts, with an explicit mission to promote and present the arts of immigrant communities and to foster intercultural exchange. I'm here to speak about the strategies we've used for these last 4.5 decades to serve these communities most effectively. First, programming. We present programs that reflect the communities around us. We don't simply present European American mainstream art forms to immigrants. We draw upon the cultures of the communities we serve, and that goes for our school programming and our programming in senior centers and our arts regrants as well. Second, staffing. Many of our staff come from the communities we serve, and beyond that, we have staff with expertise in the arts and cultural forms of these diverse communities. We have education, art services, and community outreach staff with experience working with diverse groups of people. Third, marketing. We utilize multilingual marketing, translate our press releases, and work with local ethnic press, and we have marketing and community outreach staff who understand the best sources to go to. Fourth, partnerships. We develop long-term partnerships with organizations both smaller and larger than us to deepen our reach. Local groups such as the Kunchu Chinese Opera Society, the Afro-Garifuna Jazz Ensemble, or the Matinecock Tribal Nation help us reach deeply, and larger organizations help us as well. Fifth, we do a lot of cross-cultural collaboration. And sixth, our proximity to the communities we serve is very important, a fact backed up by the Social Impact for the Arts Study, SCIAP project. Our proximity enables local audiences and artists to feel welcomed, draws staff and artists who have familiarity with the communities around us, and keeps us in touch with those communities. So that's it. Thank you very much. We offer these strategies because we think that it's really important that other organizations do this kind of work as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next witness will be Lisa Elbert from Greenwood Cemetery. You may begin your testimony when ready.
Hi, Chair Osei, Chair Hanif. I'm representing Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn. Thanks for the opportunity to speak really quickly. Here's what we just want you to know. We share your vision that our city's immigrant communities deserve arts programming that is original, authentic, and that offers opportunities for connections to cultures, cultural practices that people are bringing with them, and cultural practices they're coming into in their new homes. We want Greenwood to be on your radar. Great example. Also, Dia de los Muertos at a cemetery seemed like a natural. We've done it for many years. Every November 1st, we have lots of music and mariachi bands and parents and community members and amazing tamales. And Alexa Avelas brought her entire staff to the event, so that was exciting. It was a great day and a nice celebration of the Mexican culture in Sunset Park. And beyond Day of the Dead, our school programs, one of our most popular school programs is about immigrants who made their mark in New York City. This is learning that sticks and programming that affects hearts and minds. So that's just a tiny sliver of what we do. We just want you to know that New York's cultural institutions, we know that you want New York's cultural institutions to do more, to innovate, and to make space for the creative expression of our immigrant neighbors, and we're here for you and for our newest New Yorkers throughout the year. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The final witness on this panel will be Lisa Gold from the Asian American Arts Alliance. You may begin when ready. Thank you.
Oops, thank you. All right. Nice to see you. Thank you, Chair Osei and Hanif. My name is Lisa Gold. I am the daughter of an immigrant and the executive director of the Asian American Arts Alliance. We're a District 4-based nonprofit that serves to ensure greater representation, equity, and opportunities for Asian American artists and arts workers throughout the city. So in addition to supporting individual artists, I lead a very loose coalition of Asian American Pacific Islander arts organizations throughout the city, and many of whom are led by or serve immigrant populations. And I want to say that I really feel that short shrift is paid to the contributions of immigrants in terms of culture because, or their cultural contributions, due to a distinct lack of funding, and specifically, as you noted, Councilmember Osei, the lack of language access and opportunities. And that's one thing that we feel very strongly about, granting equal access to everyone. The Cultural Immigrant Initiative is incredibly important. Full disclosure, we benefit from it, as do our communities. But it is administered, as you noted, through the Cultural Development Fund, which is incredibly difficult, even for people whose English is their first language, but for people whose first language is not English, negotiating that process to apply through CDF DCLA, it's really arduous. And I heard Commissioner Cumbo note that translation services were available to applicants, and that I did not know that. I learned that today, being in this hearing, so thank you. One of the things that I did want to note that was really valuable was the City Artists Corps initiative that happened. A4 was a partner to DCLA, and we served to help translate that application and the information into 10 different languages, and we did that in record time. And one of the applicants, a Chinatown-based applicant, just told us that she'd lived in the city for more than 20 years, and she felt like this was the first time that a grant applied to her. So this is so, so, so important. So I just want to say thank you, push for language access, and keep the Cultural Immigrant Initiative alive. Go Year of the Rabbit. Okay.
Thank you so much. This concludes this panel. We'll now call the names of the next panelists and the next 4 witnesses. When you hear your name, please approach the table. The next witnesses will be Nikisha Hamilton, Leticia Cortez Ortiz from the People's Theater Project, Chris Whitaker, and Elizabeth Koch. Apologies for any mispronunciations. Okay, thank you very much. We'll begin with the first witness. Nikisha Hamilton, you may begin your testimony when ready.
Good afternoon, Honorable Osei and Hanif. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Nikisha Hamilton, and I am the founder and CEO of Afeni Creative Studios. I am a West Indian American woman with parents from Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. I came to discuss the importance of investing into carnival sector in New York City and its impact on immigrant communities. Carnival in New York, an industry created by immigrants, celebrates and preserves culture while impacting the economy within a 5-day span. It's an opportunity for job and wealth creation foreign exchange earnings, tourism, marketing, and more. Carnival is a channel for the government to collect extra tax revenue from permits, transportation, hotels, and airports. According to past research, New York Carnival generated almost $300 million in revenue per year. Currently, Latin America and the Caribbean carnivals generate $125 billion. Rio de Janeiro and New Orleans generate $1 billion each year, and Toronto, $250 million. Every city that hosts a carnival makes at least $100 million, costing them less than 10% of the revenue generated. The city should research, track, and report the progress of Carnival, make Carnival green, and lead international trade relations with the Caribbean. New York City is currently losing its stature in regards to Caribbean Carnival. Many Carnival bands are leaving. Folks rather travel to other cities to spend money and participate in Carnival. This means that we are losing revenue. Carnival is underdeveloped and often unrealized, and as the city and state face budget cuts, inflation, and grapple with finding new streams of revenue, let's double down on things that we know work, like Carnival and investing in immigrant communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll go to the next witness, Leticia Cortez Ortiz. You may begin your testimony when ready.
My name is Leticia Cortez, representing People's Theater Project, or PTP. Thank you to the Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations, and the Committee on Immigration for having us here today. Rooted in Washington Heights and Inwood, and serving immigrants across New York City, PTP makes theater with and for immigrant communities in order to build a more just and equitable world. Through our theater-making process, we give immigrant youth the tools to tell their own stories, to be empowered by their identities, to become leaders and champions for their communities. But our work does not stop there. We take care of our families by monitoring their needs in areas such as housing, food insecurity, legal services, and mental health. As PTP's youth and family advocate, I support the psychosocial health and physical needs of our young artists and their families through trustful relationships, building systems to assess their needs, and connecting them to the correct community resources. We believe that art must go hand in hand with holistic care. Data shows that cultural assets in neighborhoods leads to increased community safety and better outcomes in education and mental health. Yet arts and culture continue to be underfunded in our communities. New York City needs immigrant-centered cultural spaces. Despite Latinos making up 30% of New York City's population, Latinx artists hold less than 5% of roles and wrote less than 1% of the plays produced. At PTP, we are honored to be partnering with the city to build its first immigrant theater located in Inwood, home to the city's largest immigrant group. Culturally responsive art is transformative. Investing in spaces that do this will make New York City a more welcoming home for new New Yorkers. Sharing our stories, hearing our languages, and seeing our community on stage matters, and representation matters. Art is a human right and must be accessible for all. And with your leadership, we can achieve this. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. And just for the record, we just want to note this is our last in-person panel, so we'll move to remote testimony next. The next witness is Chris Whitaker, and you may begin your testimony when ready.
Good afternoon, Chairs Osei and Hanif. Thank you for taking the time to consider today's topic and also for your support for small cultural organizations. My name is Chris Whitaker, and I'm currently a law student at Fordham University, but prior to this, for the previous 7 years, I served as a music director and founder of the Washington Heights Chamber Orchestra, which performed over 70 free concerts, increasing access to the arts across the Upper Manhattan cultural divide east and west of Broadway. I'm also the former music director at Fort Washington Collegiate Church, where I founded an amateur community choir in Washington Heights, where my wife and I reside. In my choir, both longtime residents and new New Yorkers don't just make music, but build lasting relationships that connect them to the city. This sense of belonging is what can make New York feel like a small town. As we spend so much time cloistered behind our screens, where our distrust is ever amplified by algorithm, local arts organizations provide a needed path back to community. Small cultural organizations especially play an outsized role in making New York a place where all people, newcomers and immigrants alike, thrive. Community-based arts organizations act as a valuable third space that strengthens bonds between neighbors. This is why it is essential that they be preserved, protected, and supported. As local arts organizations reimagine themselves post-COVID, I want to highlight two key issues for you to consider beyond funding. The first, related to what we like to call butts in seats, and second, related to access to affordable space. You can help with the first by showing up to the work of small arts organizations in your district. Your leadership can help to reignite a culture of going out, which the arts in the city desperately needs. Second, access to space is a harder problem. I know so many artists who are doing amazing work in underserved, predominantly low-income or immigrant communities who simply need space. Your direct engagement will plant seeds of collaboration that can help organizations develop new relationships that benefit the residents and businesses in your district. Local arts organizations are essential to solving today's urgent problems, and immigrants are an essential part of our fabric. Supporting local arts organizations is supporting immigrant communities and vice versa. Our sense of belonging, sparked by joining a choir, a writers group, a community garden, is the beginning of civic engagement for a new generation of New Yorkers and will foster citizens who are invested in their city and believe in their power to make positive change. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony. The last witness on this panel is Elizabeth Koch from Brooklyn Book Festival. You may begin your testimony when ready.
Yep, got it. Thank you. I'm Liz Koch with the Brooklyn Book Festival. I'm the producer of the festival. And one of the things I wanted to say right up front is Brooklyn and New York are obviously a city and a borough of immigrants. My own parents immigrated here as Eastern European war refugees. They landed in Brooklyn before they went to New Jersey, the promised land, and have throughout their life until they passed. It was deeply meaningful to them whenever someone representing the culture of their homeland came to New York and they were able to see them. That never stopped being meaningful. So together with city funding support, and I really wanted to highlight the Cultural Immigrant Initiative, it's really been possible for the Brooklyn Book Festival to evolve as a festival that embraces immigrant communities and also has extensive programming for different immigrant cultures. Some of the authors that we have had come, I'm going to jump to the end because I'm wary of the time here, have been from Argentina, Mexico, Colombia, Jamaica, Trinidad, Russia, France, Brazil, India, Cameroon, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, China, Kenya, Japan, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Haiti, Australia, Rwanda, and dozens of others. We work together with different cultural organizations and community-based organizations throughout the city for them to hear about the program that we're doing. And so one of the reasons the support is so important is that it's not, there are a lot of costs to presenting cultural programming in a way that's accessible to people, whether it's through language, interpreters, materials translated. There are additional costs. We do a lot of, I think one of the things we really learned from COVID, if you have to say what is a tiny silver lining, is that we do international programming extensively virtually now. So thank you for your support. The Cultural Immigrant Initiative is so important to organizations.
Thank you so much to this panel for your testimony, and thank you to everyone who is here to testify in person today. This concludes our in-person testimony. We'll move to remote testimony at this time. If there's anyone in the room that we inadvertently missed, if you submitted a witness slip and maybe missed your name, if you could just let us know. Okay. We'll now move to remote testimony, and so I will call the names of the next panelists. Panel 10 will be Lucy Sexton, Eleni DeServio from Lincoln Center, Reshma Patel from Dance NYC, and Petra Zanki. Okay, and the next witness is Lucy Sexton, who is our first remote witness. And Ms. Sexton, you may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock.
Your time starts now.
Oh, trying to get my camera on. There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. Sorry to be testifying remotely. I wanted to be with you in person. Thank you, Chair Osei, and thank you, City Council. My name is Lucy Sexton of New Yorkers for Culture and Arts, a coalition of more than 300 cultural organizations and artists and culture workers from across the 5 boroughs. Thank you for holding this hearing on the critical role culture plays in New York City's immigrant communities and the key role that immigrant art plays in the city's world-renowned arts and culture. The story of New York City culture has always been deeply informed by its historic waves of immigrants, and that is still the case. One need only look at the lineup of the Queensboro Dance Festival, which includes an amazing array of dance groups based on the many, many countries represented in our most diverse borough, from Calpulli Mexican Dance Company to Kindig Sindaw's Indigenous Philippine Dance Group and more. Or go to any of the Caribbean festivals and work done by Tropical Fete with the kids and adults in Crown Heights and in schools throughout Brooklyn. The list of examples is truly endless, and New York is rightly proud of them. The only thing they need is proper support and more public investment for the work that they do. Queensboro Dance Festival is still produced by a single visionary, Karesha Batan, and a tiny staff. Let's get her more money. In recent months, we have seen extraordinary response and service offered by cultural groups to newly arrived asylum seekers, from clothing drives at El Museo del Barrio and other culture centers to full arts festivals engaging new immigrants at the Clemente Center in the Lower East Side, among others. The city's cultural groups have risen to the occasion. They reach out in culturally connected and authentic ways to welcome and support our newest New Yorkers. Again, all they need is more robust support to do this work, which serves the city in times of crisis and beyond. There's a show opening at St. Anne's Warehouse next month called The Jungle. I know many of you talked about Little Amal. Little Amal came out of this show originally called
Your
The
time
Jungle.
expired.
My teen daughter actually visited the refugee camp on which the show is based several years ago. A group from the UK set up a large tent in the middle of a sprawling camp of asylum seekers waiting for months and years on the border. The response was incredible as kids began to come to the tent to draw, to make music, as teens did rap battles and dance shows for each other, and as grown-ups gathered to tell stories and connect across their own cultural barriers. In the words of one of the participants, in this camp, lots of charity groups think all we need is food and shelter. We also need this, a place to gather, to express ourselves and to connect, to remember our humanity and to find release and joy. My co-parent, you're hearing a lot about my family in my testimony today. Thank you for indulging me. My co-parent works leading the city's Be Heard program as a social worker responding with EMS to calls for emotionally disturbed people. She says they are seeing lots of mental health issues in newly arrived immigrants housed in hotels and shelters, and among their children as they are thrown into new schools. We need to invest in getting people cultural programs in the shelters to help them survive mentally in the hardest of circumstances. And we need to get culturally appropriate arts in those kids' schools, in the schools, so they have a place to connect and process the anxiety they are experiencing. I was a Sukasa teacher a few years ago in a Chinatown senior center. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be almost done. The exercise I gave my class was, none of whom spoke English, was to describe the happiest time in their lives. An elderly man who never said much started crying as he relayed that he had worked in factories since he was 14, and that this time, doing these classes in this community, was the happiest time of his life. As New York faces economic belt tightening, an increase in
Lucy,
new
I'm
immigrants,
so sorry,
and mental health crisis.
but we are over the 2 minutes. We are losing this room at 1 p.m., so I do want to get everyone in for their testimony.
Thanks so much. Sorry to go over.
But what I hear,
I'm done.
no, it's no worries.
And just a reminder that the committees also meticulously review written testimony and accept written testimony up to 72 hours after the hearing. So there is a 2-minute clock, and we lose the room at 1 p.m. So we have 4 or 5 more panels left, but if there is anyone that would like to submit written testimony, we can also answer questions afterwards. The next witness on this panel is excuse me in advance for pronunciation, Eleni DeServio from Lincoln Center. Thank you. And thank you for your testimony, Ms. Sexton.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm mute.
Time starts
Good
now.
afternoon, everyone.
Chair Osei, Chair Hanif, and members of both committees. My name is Eleni DeCervo, Senior Director of Government Relations at Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. In an effort to be cognizant of time, I will keep my testimony short and submit the longer version. Lincoln Center was created as a place where the arts are not for the privileged few, but for the many. Our founding mission is placing the arts at the center of daily life for all New Yorkers. This mission is inclusive of immigrant communities. We believe the arts are an essential part of civic life to reflect and inform the world in a process that is inherently democratic, valuing freedom of expression and an open exchange of ideas. Commissioner Cumbo spoke to a lot of the work that we've been doing over the last year with immigrant communities, uplifting immigrant artists, and some of the work that we've been doing with asylum seekers in partnership with Councilmember Hanif's office. And I'll just mention a few in my testimony. So this summer, as part of Summer for the City, it culminated in performances by the Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra and a call for solidarity with the victims of the war in Ukraine. This was presented in partnership with the Metropolitan Opera and the Polish National Opera. They encouraged donations to organizations supporting the resettlement of Ukrainians, such as Welcome.us. This Sunday, we're presenting Global Fest, which was founded in 2003 with the mission of breaking down cultural and social barriers by moving international music to the center of the performing arts field. We're doing a takeover of David Geffen Hall for this effort. And through strengthening opportunities for artists to reach broader audiences, the festival facilitates a more inclusive cultural sector, a healthier society, and creates more equitable economic opportunities in the arts. Additionally, Lincoln Center made strides in using the campus as a civic hub by creating new opportunities to offer welcome. Commissioner Cumbo had stated that we welcome 300 new citizens representing 80 different countries take the oath to become new Americans. And we were proud to offer that and extended free tickets to our opening performances at David
Your time
Geffen
has
Hall.
expired.
Culture is a unifying force and extending welcome to new residents, breaking down barriers and offering hope. Over the holidays, we coordinated with Catholic Charities, Immigrant Arc, and other community-based partners to offer 500 free tickets to the Big Apple Circus for recently arrived asylum seekers. Lincoln Center is a proud member of the city's 34 organization Cultural Institutions Group and participant in the IDNYC program. Founded for the purpose of cultivating, fostering, and centering civically engaged arts, Lincoln Center is home to 11 arts and arts education nonprofits.
Thank you. If you could
Lincoln
please
Center-
wrap up.
Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts as a primary advocate. We are committed to doing this work, and we are committed to partnering with the cultural sector and with Moya and DCLA to advance services for the asylum-seeking community and to support immigrant communities throughout the city. Thank you for your time, and we'll submit our written testimony.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The next witness will be Reshma Patel from Dance NYC.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. My name is Reshma Patel, and I serve on the board of Dance NYC, a service organization for the dance sector in the New York City area. But in addition to that, I also am board co-chair of Chaya Community Development Corporation, which serves South Asian and Indo-Caribbean immigrants in Queens, as well as on Manhattan Community Board 6. And so serving in these roles has given me a unique insight into the needs of immigrant artists, and specifically dance artists in New York City, who are often the most overlooked. Immigrants account for almost a third of all artists in New York City, and many of these immigrant artists face unique struggles. Immigrant artists don't have access to wealthy donors in their networks, and the cultural organizations they belong to don't have access to large endowments. Furthermore, immigrant communities were hit harder by the COVID-19 pandemic, and many of the immigrant artists could not qualify for government relief due to their immigration status. And lack of funding has forced many of these immigrant artists to abandon their work or to leave New York City. So I ask that you consider increasing funding for immigrant artists and arts organizations to give access to more affordable rehearsal and performance space, and to help them with their path to becoming new Americans. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The final witness on this panel will be Petra Zonke. Ms. Zonke, before your testimony, I'm going to read the names of the next panelists so that they know that their testimony is coming. On the next panel, we have 3 members. It will be Fran Garber-Cohen, Potiron Kamanis, Kwano Noor from Kinding Sinda, and Candace Anderson. But before that, the last witness on this panel is Petra Sankey. You may begin your testimony when ready.
You may begin.
Apologies, I don't think the witness is present, so we will move to the next panel. We will also check for anyone that we inadvertently missed at the end of the hearing. So our next witness on the next panel will be, Francine Garber-Cohen, Pochi Kamanis, Quena Noor, and Candace Anderson. So Ms. Garber-Cohen, if you are present, you may begin your testimony when ready.
Good afternoon. I'm Fran Garber-Cohen, president of Regina Opera Company, which offers ticketed and free, fully staged operas and operatic concerts in Sunset Park, an underserved and low-income immigrant community, and of Asian and Latinx residents, and also in Bay Ridge, a naturally occurring retirement community. Regina Opera also offers online performances for people who cannot attend live performances. We provide affordable entertainment and accessible venues for people, especially immigrants, who may not otherwise attend live performances. Some audience members lack the funds to spend on entertainment. Some Asian community members fear travel to Manhattan by subway. Some may not feel welcome attending at the major opera houses. Others can't spend the time to travel to Manhattan or can't plan ahead to buy tickets in advance. We sell all our tickets at the door and never run out of space. Our performance addresses these issues of the Sunset Park and Bay Ridge community members. The need for cultural enrichment is reflected in the fact that a total of over 4,000 people usually attend a combination of our live and online performances each season. We at Regina Opera hear from our audience members that they wish there were additional money for local arts organizations in New York City that take their needs into account. Speaking on behalf of the music organizations in New York City, who are dedicated to bring happiness to our community members, especially immigrant members. We are frustrated by the fact that New York City is not doing enough to fund all of our small organizations for the work that we do. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The next witness will be, and I apologize in advance, Potridan Kamanis Queno Noor from Kinding Sinda. If you are present, you may begin your testimony when ready.
You may begin.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get my camera on. My name is Putriang Kamanis, and my organization is Kinding Sindao. Losi Sexton cited our group as one of those small organizations that is asserting an art that is about to be an art that's almost invisible. I'm an immigrant nurse. I came to USA at the height of HIV/AIDS, and to fill in the understaffing, and been working as a nurse. And together, being a nurse, I saw the need of bringing the art that I grew up with. Since that art, I know, can contribute to the healing of New York, and also to make New York, sorry, I'm climbing the stairs, make New York community. So Kinding Sindao is a 30-year-old immigrant New York City-based non-for-profit dance theater company that is composed of immigrant tradition bearers, artists, and educators, founded by me, Potriang Kamanis, an immigrant nurse, in 1992. Kinding Sindao exists to assert, preserve, reclaim and recreate the traditions of dance, music, martial arts, storytelling, and orature of the indigenous peoples of Mindanao, Southern Philippines, here in diaspora. Our mission is to educate and enlighten immigrant communities about the history and culture of the indigenous people of the Philippines through the use of indigenous music, dance, and cultural arts forms. We serve as an
Thank you. Your
important
time has
educational.
expired.
Thank you. Apologies. And just a reminder, if you can submit written testimony, it is reviewed meticulously by staff and by the committees. So if you submit written testimony, that will also be considered on the record. The address to send written testimony to is testimony@council.nyc.gov. The next panelist on this panel is Candace Anderson from Cool Culture. You may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock.
You may begin.
Good afternoon. My name is Candace Anderson, and I'm the Executive Director of Cool Culture. Our community consists of 50,000 families. 83% of our families are BIPOC, 47% speak a language other than English, and many face economic injustices. We partner as well with thousands of educators at 450 schools and hundreds of cultural workers at 90 cultural institutions. I really want to thank the committees, Chair Osei and Chair Hanif, for holding this hearing today. And I know that I am speaking to the choir when I say that cultural equity and equitable access to the arts is really essential to thriving communities, to healing and recovering from the intersecting impacts of both systemic racism and the pandemic. We are also currently bearing witness to powerful cultural shifts. These manifest themselves as xenophobia and cultural narratives and policies that reproduce inequality and threaten the rights of BIPOC New Yorkers and new New Yorkers broadly. The city has adopted sanctuary policies, which under the Adams administration include Project Open Arms, which plans to support families seeking asylum, including providing families and children with access to education, mental health, and social services in partnership with multiple agencies, the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, Department of Education. This and similar initiatives, however, should be expanded to include the Department of Cultural Affairs. I want to say that BIPOC and immigrant communities are still reeling from the hardships from the pandemic. The reality is that small organizations play an incredible role in addressing these hardships, and these are the same organizations that are referenced by the commissioner time and again as the folks who are on the front line of reaching out to new New Yorkers. Unfortunately, we simply do not have the funds necessary to meet the needs.
Thank you, and your time has expired.
I will submit my full testimony with more specific policy recommendations, including revisiting the antiquated funding model to the committee submitted after the testimony and hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony, and thank you to this panel. So we'll now move to the next panel. I'm going to read the names of the panelists on the next two panels, which are remote. The next panel will be Cheryl Warfield from Advance More Opera, Harley Judge Spiller from Franklin Furnace Archive, and Ya-Yun Tang from the New York Foundation for the Arts. After that, the next panel will be Mavo Montalvo from the Museum of the City of New York, Karen Atlas, and Milena Luna from Dance NYC. So we'll now move to the next panel. The first witness is Cheryl Warfield, and you may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock. Thank you again for your patience.
You may begin.
Good afternoon, Chair Hovse, Chair Hanif, and committee members, and thank you for hearing my testimony. I am Cheryl Warfield, founder of Advance More Opera, that provides culturally responsive music training and outreach to youth and older adults in underserved communities in the Bronx, Upper Manhattan, and Manhattan Valley. More Opera has been serving elementary school students and adult English language learners for nearly 20 years. I'd like to cite two examples. One, an opera residency at PS 226 in the Bronx for fourth graders aged 9 to 10 to perform in the opera Tosca with full orchestra conducted by renowned maestro Anton Coppola. Most of the children were Spanish speaking. I'll never forget how their faces lit up as they learned to sing in Italian and their realization of the similarities between Italian and Spanish and how delighted they were that they understood much of what they were singing without my translating it. In Kingsbridge Heights, we presented vocal music residencies in conjunction with the Bronx Opera for grammar and accent reduction that empowered adult ESOL students and gave them greater confidence in speaking English using songs like Sinatra's My Way and This Land Is Your Land. Links to videos demonstrating the impact of these residencies on participants are included in my written testimony. We are ready, willing, and able to do more for immigrant communities, but we need space and funding. I strongly encourage increased funding for the Cultural Immigrant Initiative and other initiatives.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The next witness will be, one moment, sorry. The next witness will be Harley Judd Spiller. You may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock.
You may begin.
Thank you. Gong hei fa choi, si nen kwai la, shi nen omedeto gozaimasu, feliz año nuevo, shana tova, happy new year. I don't speak any of those languages, but I learned them in my 40 years in New York, or at least a little foot in the door. I'm the Ken Dewey director of Franklin Furnace Archive, a 46-year-old arts organization that fights for artists' First Amendment rights. Thank you, Lucy, for your last story, which brought me to tears. This is personal. My family came here from Ukraine. I never immigrated, but I started in New York on a whopping $9,000 salary. I found myself drawn to Bay Ridge, to Elmhurst. Lo and behold, these are where new immigrants go. It's where you can get a toehold. It's where you can get lunch and dinner for less than some people pay for a cup of coffee. I didn't want New York. I didn't think I could make it here, but it's my career and I love it. New York is a fabulous place and can be even better to start. It's amazing the culture opportunities for poor people here. We are financially poor, but culturally rich as can be. We want more. I'm greedy, and I thank Lori Kumbo and the City Council for this opportunity to spill my heart for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The next witness will be Ya Yun Tang from the New York Foundation for the Arts. You may begin your testimony when ready, or when the sergeant calls the clock. Apologies.
Your time has begun.
Thank you for the committee chairs and all my colleagues who testify and sharing really moving stories. My name is Ya Yun Tang. I'm the program officer, Immigrant Artists Resource Center at the New York Foundation for the Arts, also known as NYFA. We are an arts service organization. In NYFA, we have an immigrant artist program. Thanks to DCLA's support, we were able to serve 10,000 immigrant artists every year. Our immigrant artist mentoring program, founded in 2007, has provided opportunities to more than 500 New York City-based artists from 76 countries. Many of them became important fabric of New York City's communities, telling their stories in art space, teaching and engaging in public activities, and engaging public activities that enrich New Yorkers' lives. One of the example is our mentee and then term mentor, Lena Montoya, who is based in Staten Island. When little Amal, many people mention it, visit Staten Island, she was the artist who designed and implemented the community participation portion. She also worked with public school in 5 boroughs, working with school children on arts projects and murals. As I said, many mentees return as mentors, and in addition, our alumni community benefits from many partnership that we have in New York City. And one example is Material for the Arts, also one of the city agency who arranged shopping days for our alumni. To date, for about a year, more than 65 artists have benefited from the offering. Last year, we launched the Immigrant Artists Resource Center with the goal of increasing public access to critical resources and information, as well as aiming to serve those that we are not serving yet. Our public program on healthcare options, affordable housing, and visa applications.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I will submit my testimony. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this concludes this panel. So we will also be reading written testimony. And again, if anybody needs to update their testimony or submit written testimony, even if you've already submitted it, you can submit it to testimony@council.nyc.gov up to 72 hours after the hearing. The next panel will be the second to last. So I will read the names of the last panelists. If there's anybody on the next 2 panels, if there's anyone we have inadvertently missed, we will check at the end of these panels. So panel 13, the next panel will be Maeve Montalvo from the Museum of the City of New York, Karen Atlas and Milena Luna from Dance NYC. And then the final panel is 3 witnesses, Linda Kennedy, Carly Eckert, and Mafor Mambo Se. So we'll now move to the next panel. The first witness is Maeve Montalvo, and you may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock. Ms. Montalvo.
You may begin.
Chairs Hanif and Osei and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Maeve Montalvo, and I'm the Director of Education at the Museum of the City of New York, here today to emphasize the importance of celebrating cultural heritage and history in our city and supporting cultural organizations who partner in this work. At the museum, we engage hundreds of thousands of visitors each year in celebrating, documenting, and interpreting the city's past, present, and future. We are currently celebrating our 100th anniversary as New York City's storytellers. We are a proud member of the Cultural Institutions Group and see inclusion, diversity, access, and equity as central to our work. I'd like to share a few examples of our work to demonstrate how supporting cultural organizations ensures stories like these can reach all New Yorkers. Earlier, the public art project I Still Believe in Our City was mentioned, which launched in response to the rise of anti-Asian discrimination and hate crimes in the city. We approached the artist behind that work, Amanda Ping-Potipakia, and invited her to find a long-term home for her work at the museum as part of our exhibition on activism. Now her art helps us engage students in building empathy and countering harmful stereotypes. We co-created the Hidden Voices Project with the New York City Department of Education to ensure that the city's more than 1 million students hear the stories of diverse but often overlooked individuals who have shaped this city. People like Wang Qinfu, who founded the Chinese Equal Rights League in the late 19th century in the face of the US government's Chinese Exclusion Act, and Dr. Antonia Pantoja, who advocated for Puerto Rican New Yorkers like my family and was key to ensuring bilingual education in our schools. I'll share one final anecdote. On Monday, I had the privilege of listening to a 4th grader from New York City Public School in Queens, who shared that he is afraid to go outside because he fears being hurt as an Asian American. When I asked him what he would like us adults to do, Min Jae said he'd like more people to know about Asian American cultures so they do not seem strange or different. I promised Min Jae I would bring his story here today to emphasize the importance of making sure visibility and representation are always showcased through our cultural organizations and our policy agendas. Thank you to the members of the committee for receiving this testimony, and at the museum, we will continue to share the stories and contributions of the resilience of immigrant communities as we document the past, present, and future of all New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The next witness will be Karen Atlas. You may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock.
You may begin.
Hello, I'm Karen Atlas. I direct Arts and Democracy in the Citywide Alliance, NOCD, NY. Our work in support of immigrant communities ranges from an annual community iftar, bilingual workshops addressing climate justice, virtual open mics facilitating community healing, and a public art exhibition honoring immigrant-led mutual aid. I want to acknowledge our council member Shahana Hanif for her support of our work. Our program director Hasiba Haq writes, support from the Cultural Immigrant Initiative and other city funding not only elevates the voice of communities that go unheard, but helps build the next generation of leaders. Young Muslim women have become trailblazers. They've redefined the importance of public space and women's participation in it, built safe spaces for queer youth, provided platforms for young people to celebrate their artistic skills, and built intergenerational relationships that bridge cultural divides. We recommend that the city expand the Cultural Immigrant Initiative, address delayed decision-making and funding, which makes it very hard for small organizations to work with the city and results in cash flow challenges and debt, allow small immigrant organizations to use fiscal sponsors to receive city funding, increase cross-sector opportunities that engage the power of arts and culture across city agencies, make these opportunities transparent with realistic timelines and equitable pay for artists. Support the holistic work of neighborhood cultural centers in support of immigrant communities. Provide technical assistance and financial support for small plaza partners so they can succeed, such as DOT's Plaza Equity Fund. Ground policy making in stories, culture, and lived experience, and recognize and reward community knowledge and leadership. There are more details on these recommendations in our written testimony. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. The next witness is Milena Luna from Dance NYC.
Begin.
Good afternoon. My name is Milena Luna, and I am a Colombian immigrant artist who grew up in Queens, and I'm also the interim executive director for Dance NYC. Thank you all for this opportunity to speak to you today. Dance NYC is a service organization for the dance industry in the Metro NYC area, and its research and advocacy seek to represent and advance the interests of the dance sector. Today, I join colleague advocates working across all the creative disciplines to acknowledge and celebrate the important contributions of immigrant communities to arts and culture in our city. And I reiterate the ways that the artistry of this community must continue to be supported. Dance NYC also supports the current resolutions that have been proposed to recognize the Lunar New Year as a school and official holiday. Immigrant artists comprise a growing share of the city's artists, an estimated 50,964 in 2018, a 69% increase from 1990. Dance NYC studies show that the immigrant dance workforce is ethnically and racially diverse, and that immigrant dance workers are investing in their communities as leaders, activists, and healers, and are innovating new models. But despite this tremendous output, almost 1/4 of the immigrant dance workforce does not receive income from dance-related activities. They feel undervalued in their contributions to our city and encounter several other legal and societal barriers to accomplishing their work. Dance NYC is committed to advancing justice, equity, and inclusion in the arts and the cultural sector, and we offer the following recommendations for the city to foster inclusion, integration, and human rights of immigrant dance artists, cultural workers, and communities. So it is imperative that the city develop immigrant-specific programs for both arts and project funding initiatives, integrate immigrant matters as a funding priority in existing arts portfolios, and expand funding to ensure the inclusion of small budget groups, fiscally sponsored projects.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. This concludes this panel. And again, we will be reviewing written testimony if you submit written testimony. The next and final panel, we will check for anyone we inadvertently missed, will be Carly Eckert and Mafour Mambose. So the next panelist and witness is Carly Eckert from Dance Parade. You may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock.
You may begin.
Good day. Thank you to the committee members for hearing my testimony today as a representative of Dance Parade Incorporated. My name is Carly Eckert, and I'm the Community Engagement Director for Dance Parade, New York City's largest dance event and a dance education provider to 24 schools and community centers. As our events are a United Nations of dance, we present and employ thousands of immigrants who are a cornerstone of the artists and audiences we serve, which is why we think today's testimony is so important. This year on May 20th, we will hold the 17th Annual Dance Parade and Festival in NYC. We believe that live performance has the potential to awaken a communal human experience and helps build a more equitable and vibrant society. Throughout the year, we serve the dance community by employing scores of teaching and performing artists, of which 94% are POC artists and immigrants. And through our programs, we reach over 150,000 New Yorkers each year. Through donor and board support, Dance Parade has created a marginalized community fund to support the increased participation of immigrant artists and immigrant-led groups in the parade and dance fest through free registration, audio rentals, parade floats, festival booths, and performance stipends. In 2023, Dance Parade's community engagement programs will work closely with public schools across the 5 boroughs to bring dance education programs to K through 12 students, exposing them to cultural forms of dance study and giving them the opportunity to participate on a global stage at the parade and festival. Thanks to the work and partnerships in our city that we have developed over the last 17 years, our programming also extends to older adult centers and immigrant communities, such as neighborhoods of Corona, Bayside, and Queens, and Parkchester, Bronx, where we offer joyful physical activity, honor life experiences, and strengthen connections between older Americans, their culture, and the vibrant NYC arts community. Through continued efforts, we pledge to continue our work of bringing the joy of dance in all its forms to New Yorkers and to help strengthen the visible presence of immigrant dance making and culture in our city. We're grateful to the City Council for financial support, as well as the New York State Council.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. The last witness is Mafor Mambose from Protectors of the Rainforest, Inc. You may begin your testimony when the sergeant calls the clock.
You may begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mafor Mambote. I am the Executive Director of Siren Protectors of the Rainforest. And our mission is to save and protect the rainforest because it significantly influences the health of the entire ecosystem, our planet, and its people. We do this by creating artistic and educational programs that incorporate the diverse cultures of Africa, using dance as our siren call to locally and internationally mobilize support for changes to existing regulatory framework, which will also tell you why I'm here today. Our goal is to preserve, promote, and present the knowledge that was passed down from generations through African arts, dances, histories, cultures, musical traditions, and innovations by forming comprehensive and innovative educational programming using artistic expression. We enlighten diverse audiences and bring vital context to today's issues, from climate change to food accessibility to the crisis at the southern border, which is one of the reasons also why we're here today. For the past 2 years and past the end of 2024, Siren will be following the theme set forth by the United Nations for the International Decade of People of African Descent, which is recognition, justice, and development. This theme will continue to play a defining role in all of our programming. We accomplish our work by presenting African-inspired performances. Some of you have been blessed to see us in action. We also do historical programming that enhances the community's need to connect with Africa and Africans for the purpose of development. And during the pandemic, we realized that, we could do a little bit more by using technology to connect students that lived in housing projects here to other students that live.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Okay, thank you so much for your testimony. And if you can submit your written testimony, we'll ensure that it will be part of the record, but it also will be reviewed. So at this point, that concludes the panel. That includes the public testimony. So we will read the names of everyone who registered, pre-registered, submitted a witness list, but was not present, just to ensure that we have not inadvertently missed anyone. If there's anyone who is present online who we inadvertently did not call, please raise your hand in Zoom. Or if you're present in the room and we missed you, please also raise your hand. So the witnesses we missed are Linda Kennedy, Alex Stein, Ebony Hatchett, George Hsu, Timothy Wong, William Su, Peter Wong, Wallace H. Zhang, George Lee, Rong Bao, Nicole Chujan, we have your written testimony, Ryan Morales Green, and Francis Escano as well. We do not see any hands online or in person. So at this point, we will move to the chair for final remarks. This concludes the public testimony portion of this hearing.
Thank you all so much for participating, for folks who are here in person and all who've testified remote. We really appreciate the work that you're doing and will continue to do to support the inclusion of immigrants in art, and we'll do everything in our power as council members to ensure that the administration really provides the services, the dollars, and the resources to ensure immigrant-led organizations and immigrant artists are prioritized. I learned a lot, and I'm excited that Councilmember Chiosei and myself were able to do this jointly. We're deeply appreciative of our staff across our teams and on our committees. Thank you all so much, and I will close us out.